How y'all's doing? Scared root. Guess I'm up. Chilling. Yeah, family, potential family. Um, enlighten you. I don't know why they won't get me. Anyway, aha moment, confirmation. Just listening, participate. Maybe it's your story, maybe it's not. Maybe somebody you know, whatever the deal may be. I know I made the mistake of new moon in Aries and not Virgo. Um, whatever, I changed it to Virgo. Sorry, Virgo. Last of your birthday, happy last of your birthday, beginning of Libra. Gang, 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 gang. Yeah, Halloween. Scorpio, Libra in there with a little Sag. Day of the Dead, our ancestors. Yeah, I was talking about that. Been talking about that. We're gonna listen to Bobby Hemmett explain to us about things because they have took a lot of culture away, and we're gonna see what he got today. Today, Bobby Hemmett, Magic, Halloween, and African Mysteries. The website, the YouTube channel is Cyrus Times Media. Uh oh, sorry about that. Thanks for the like. Appreciate it, y'all. Hope y'all can hear that. Can y'all hear me? Someone, I should have checked first. Let me see something. Hold on, yeah. Hey, super cool. Kitty, pancakes. Welcome, 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 y'all. Would y'all give me some likes when y'all come in? Appreciate it. I was here 6 years ago. Tell me if y'all could hear it. 3 or 4 times 6 years ago, about twice. But I have a history here. I had an uncle that was a big-time preacher here in the 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s. Y'all can't hear me? He died in 77. Okay. I had an uncle and an aunt. That was a great uncle. Let's put it that way. That was a great uncle, if you want to call it that. That's my grandmother's brother. And then I had my mother's brother and sister here went to Morgan State here in the late 50s. So late 50s, early 60s. So I have a history here in Baltimore, Maryland. And as we know, we always call on different experts, especially if we can find some around the area that can give us a bit of history on Baltimore, because we're gonna need this. What is the black history of Baltimore? Thank you, Sam. How you doing? All have something to do with welcome, 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 welcome to the family, Sam. Have a history and was not built for a certain purpose. Give an example. I'm down here in Atlanta, Georgia, and they call that the Southern New York. Well, come to find out that after the Civil War, it was the Northern money that built Atlanta. Video so speed, Atlanta, Halloween, the history. Later on, we would become a premier city in the 80s and in the 90s, and even starting in the 70s. But it was already a form of It was already a plan to build Atlanta as southern New York. It's nothing like New York, but there's nothing like Atlanta in the whole South. So we see a projected effort to make these cities into certain things. So we need to find out. So when you live in a particular city, you need to find out what is that city about, what is the history of that city, and what unique system or service or plan that that city used to have, and that's very key, especially for black people. What are going to be the slaves in the city? How those particular slaves or those particular people are going to be, they're going to run the city. What kind of workforce? All this stuff is very important in these places that you live. Metaphysically also, let me give you an example, because when we say that is the week before 9/11, I was in Detroit, Michigan. I was in New York on 9/11, 2001. And by the way, this is Halloween night, 2003. And I was in New York City on 9/11. A week before, I was in Detroit, and I had lost my driver's license. Not lost them by driving, I lost them physically. So a brother fixed up this college ID for me so I could fly out. You needed some type of ID. So it put alumni on it and all. So for 2 months, no, for close to a year, it worked. I didn't even get in the license. And close to a year, it worked. And right the week before 9/11, I was in Detroit, and when I went to go get back on the plane to fly out from Detroit, they took the ID, and they took the ID, and they said that they called some personnel down from some office, and he said, "Look, we're not really. We know that you're Robert Hemmett. We know this. We see that you're an alumni of this particular college. We need to know what state are you from?" Well, I said, well, basically, I'm from the state of Georgia at this particular time. So your state and your city is where you're from. Not it's the United States. But remember, America is not where you hail from. Your country is what I'm trying to say, is what state you're in. Remember that. That's very key. Because you can go to different states and you're governed by different laws. So your country is your state. And in this particular case, where you are from is Baltimore, Maryland. So therefore, it's very key to try to understand a city and why you live in that city and what the government has for you. Going into the whole Halloween thing, basically Hallows Eve is just like any other tradition that they deal. That's the European tradition, but all across the world, even in Mexico and in parts of Asia, parts of India, and even in Africa, they always have what is called a Day of the Dead. The dead also represents the Day of the Ancestors.
During crashes may seem cut and dry, but they can still derail your life. Here's exactly what to do.
But it also represents the underworld, the hollow earth, the underworld. Now, it's not necessarily in metaphysics talking about a realm that's up under the earth, but it's talking about a realm in literally another dimension. That's the ancestral realm. And so every culture has a Day of the Dead, or this Hallows Eve in Europe. That's the European form of the Day of the Dead, dealing with that particular ancestral aspect. It becomes a little more elaborate, with the ghouls and the goblins and all this type of stuff. But still, yet that's the basis of this. So this is a very important day if you understand and read behind the lines in the particular aspect that we honor the realm, the ancestral realm. Give you an example how we've been spooked out based on Christianity. I have a skull in my living room stuck inside a black pot. So when people come in, they automatically spooked out about it. Now, Some of the meanings of these things have been lost based on time. But the practitioners still keep up to the tradition of those particular customs, although the real meaning could be lost in time. And that's what happens a lot of times. Then other cultures come in, and because they don't know the real meaning, because some of the practitioners might not know the real meaning, they all relegate all this stuff into evil, a superstition, or bad. 98% of things on the planet, we'll always remember this, 98% of everything that we call evil is basically a misunderstanding based on time and historical ignorance. So what you would have is, you would have a certain tradition, and that tradition would thrive in the land, and everybody would know the meaning. But hundreds of years would pass, sometimes thousands of years would pass, and then what would happen here is you would have later generations that would come in and not understanding the original meaning of something. And by them not understanding the original meaning, they automatically in history relegated over to evil. Or relegated over to bad. You see what I'm saying? Or relegated over to taboo or forbidden. So this skull, what is the meaning of the skull that you see? A skeleton with bones that is in voodoo culture, Palo culture, and in different types of religious culture that later on is relegated into evil. Especially in African culture, the skull, the bones, and the whole 9 yards. But even in the Halloween we talk about, what would be the meaning? Well, the ancients used to understand that they would have to pay homage to the ancestors. Now, what is an ancestor? An ancestor is someone that is no longer living on the planet. So if they're no longer living, that means that their physical body has decayed based on death. So the bones represent the physical decayed body of the ancestors. In so many words, the bones literally becomes an emblem or a symbol just for ancestors. It's as simple as that. But the spookism comes in it when we don't understand these things. And then we get Hollywood and we get all this taboo mythology that comes in and explain that this is evil. So automatically the mind automatically accepts things as being evil when you don't understand it. Thus we have the same thing with religions. One man's God is another man's religion. One man's God, is another man's devil. So what you would have here is the same thing in religions. These religions come and things become evil. And things become evil because the prior practitioners of those particular systems somehow fell into obscurity. And the latter people did not understand it. So therefore, things get relegated into degradation and even in meaning. So Rudolf Steiner, one of the occultists, even goes forward to say that religion itself comes about when vast cultures fall and lose the advanced idea of education and spirituality. What is left is splinters and pieces and fragments, and that's all lumped into religion. And religion is mostly political, dealing with moralism. Has very little to do with spirituality and the practitioners of the divine laws of the earth and manipulating the forces of the earth through ritual, which is magic, which is science. It has very little to do with that. Religions are based on political, behavioral modification and moral code, mostly, with a little bit of sprinkles of some forms of mysticism that's thrown in to make it seem divine. But it's only fragments of greater systems of education and spirituality. True spirituality, most people think is evil, just by the mere fact that you're practicing something on a higher level, and it takes a little more work than sitting down begging and praying. You see what I'm saying? And because you were trained in a tradition as a child in a religion, and they call it spiritual, you automatically think that spirituality is what you've been getting all these years, which is moral code and a little bit of inspirational ceremony to make you feel a certain way. True spirituality has very little to do with moralism, very little to do with human behavior. True spirituality is tracking the spiritual realm that is unseen and manipulating the forces to bring about results in the physical. The preacher talks about having faith in the unseen, and the only reason why you have to have faith is because you don't have education in it. You don't have gnosis, knowledge in it. So there is a difference. This is the basis of metaphysics. This is the basis of occultism. The word occult just means that which is hidden. That which is hidden. So that's basically, but going back to Halloween and these festivals, this is our form of the festivals that you have. This is a national form or a European form of the festivals that you would have in South America, in the Caribbean, in New Orleans, where they have festival or carnival or carnival. Where you would have, in New Orleans, they have the carnival, they have a Day of the Dead. You see, all this stuff can reach back to Africa and the ancient civilizations. You see what I'm saying? And basically, you have that particular aspect in Hallows Eve. And then you have All Saints Day the next day. All of this stuff is nothing but the American version of the carnival. This watered down into mamby-pamby, going out and getting candy and little ghouls and goblins and jack-o'-lanterns and stuff, so the American psyche can take it. You see what I'm saying? Because the American psyche can't take anything out of religion, because the religion says you're going to hell. You see what I'm saying? You're going to hell just by thinking of anything outside of being a good, obedient child. So in so many words and stuff, if you go to a church and they've been telling you since Sunday school to be obedient, to be good, and you now 50 years old in church and they're telling you to be good and pointing the finger at all of the bad people, then in so many words, it keeps your evolution into spirituality and to understanding the universe into a retarded state. It has retarded and impeded on your process of going to a higher level. An impediment to go to the higher level. Because you're learning the same thing that you learned in Sunday school. And it's very little different from it. It might get a little more sophisticated in the particular aspect. You're talking about grown folks now. And you're throwing the black people now, which is prosperity religion. Now you're talking about praying so you can get a Cadillac. Excuse me, this is 1970s, 1980s. Praying to get a Mercedes or a Lexus. You see what I'm saying? And for some reason, you think that the reason why the person on the street are the people that don't have it. The reason why they don't have it is because they haven't prayed hard enough, or they don't belong to the right church. They don't have the right preacher. You know what I'm saying? They don't have the right preacher. Which it goes to show you that is a form of inferiority in the particular aspect of a form of historical just look at just the history of America, black America from slavery on up, and there's rarely any black people who don't believe in God and don't pray on the same manner. We must ask this question, because you have this prosperity stuff now with all these mega preachers, Creflo Dollar, Fred Price, T.D. Jakes. There's one called Bishop Eddie Long down in Atlanta. They got these mega preachers. They're outdoing each other. One of them built a coliseum. Looked like a doggone sports arena to go to church in. Paid $70 million for a coliseum in Crenshaw Boulevard. And since we've been here in the hills of North America, we have never put $70 million in a damn business. But yet this fool gonna put $70 million just in a building. Fred Price gets jealous. He goes and buys him a DC-10. He go buy him an Air Force One. One other Negro preacher goes and buy the Forum in L.A. Only many white people have afforded in them seats. Now they going to church.
What's your favorite app right now?
I don't know. Let me check.
Wait, that's an Android?
Yeah, I love Android. I'm an Android.
You see, where did this prosperity ritual come from? And I want to know, well, if it's based on prosperity ritual and it's based on God, you tithing and all this particular money thing, I want to know this particular question. What happened on the first 100 years of you being in the church, on up to from 1865 to 1965, or 1865 to 1985, where you had money for the church and you took your rallies, but you didn't have all this crazy stuff based on prosperity in that particular aspect. As a matter of fact, people don't understand this. 90% of the preachers now are talking about prosperity, and based on how much you tithe, is how much God gonna give back to you, but they're the one that's getting rich. 90% of the preachers are doing this now. That is the norm in most churches now. But isn't this interesting? Let's go back 30 years ago. 30 years ago, you only had one preacher in America that was signature to that, and that was Reverend Ike. And everybody thought he was a joke. You know what I'm saying? We used to laugh at Reverend Ike when he would talk about, you don't have anything, you don't know what to do with your money. Send me your money and I'll know what to do with it. I can do a lot with it. And we was thinking that was a novelty and somewhat of a joke and could be a form of embarrassment. You know, when we were in our right mind. But now all of a sudden, this is the run of the mill. And this is fashionable with every black preacher. Here goes again, we're getting caught up in things that have nothing to do with spirituality. Real spirituality, the modern world knows very little about it. That is relegated to the European lodges, the metaphysical and occult societies, certain bookstores and certain literature. But as far as the run-of-the-mill people, the masses of the people, both black and white, we don't get any of this on TV, and we certainly don't get it in the church, and we certainly don't get it in the public eye, what real spirituality is. So to understand that, you must understand the history of real spirituality. Real spirituality is a combination of an educational system put together in Africa, in Atlantis, Lemuria, which is nothing but different planes of the existence of the earth until we get into the physical aspect. And Africa happens to be a form of the physical aspect, but it wasn't necessarily the first, because the first civilization was, in fact, all of the earth that had all one landmass, because at one time, the earth was connected and we had one landmass. Most European scholars have proven that. One landmass, one people. You see what I'm saying? Africa is one of the first places where we started documenting records. I often ask this particular question. We go to ancient Kemet or ancient Egypt, and we see these vast monuments all over ancient Egypt, all over ancient Kemet. We was at the Walters Art Museum today looking at the British Museum collection And the Book of the Dead is here in Baltimore. And you just see these vast carvings of stuff that looks like it's from another world. And we see this vast civilization in Africa, on the continent of Africa. But we often shake our head and go, why didn't the rest of African civilization build vast civilization on that particular level as Kemet? Although we do have pyramids on in the Nubia, we have different artifacts throughout the continent. Nothing on the scale of ancient Kemet. Well, the great mystery is here. Ancient Kemet or ancient Egypt came into being as one thing. When ancient Egypt was first comes into being, it's going to be a monumental state, a state of recording vast storehouses of knowledge and information. We were already at our fallen state. We were on our decline. This happens to also do with what we have to understand, the time cycle. Because now we're finding out when you study more and more that number one, we were here, if not thousands of years, millions of years. That's the first thing. Number two, we did not come from apes. That is a European concept, and it is a contrived concept based on conspiracy with Charles Darwin being commissioned to bring about this concept. Well, most, even black scholars at this particular time will say, well, no, we can't argue that because we have bones. Yes, you have bones, and there's different species of bones and different species of apes. But that does not mean that that's a species of men. That could be just various species of apes. That's why even Charles Darwin say it's the missing link. But my point here to drive the nail into further evidence would be this. If we came from apes, the ancient Egyptians or the ancient Africans or the ancient indigenous person around the earth would have said we came from apes. It wouldn't have been no white man in the 1800s. We are responsible for history and knowledge on this planet. The Africans, the ancient indigenous black person around the earth. Everything that we know now is only a fragment of what they knew then.
The giving pump is something Shell came up with. It was kind of a no-brainer for us.
And yet, in my studies and studying them for the past 15 years, as I have never seen any ancient indigenous people who record everything, especially in ancient Kemet, say that we come from apes. So who am I going to take? A white man, Charles Darwin, based on a lie, so that they can cover up the history of black people being on the earth for thousands of years. And when you ask the question, where did white people come from? They don't have a history that can even equate to civilization no more than 2000 BC. Now, they might have been on the earth a little longer, but we're talking about outside of the caves. We'll give them a little bit of Greece. And that was stolen. But the point I'm trying to make here is it's a conspiracy. So now going back, we're talking about that's the first thing. We didn't come from apes. But going back, we're talking about a timeline that is so remote until we can't even count it as far as the history here. And number two, we're not talking about an evolution into technology of today. We're talking about advanced technology that the ancients had, a decline of the advanced technology, and then now a re-emergence of technology that the European does and calls it technology the only time technology has been on the planet. Like, I was coming in from New York the other day, I did a lecture in New York last week. I was coming in, it was me, a brother from Ethiopia, and a white boy sitting next to us. We was up in the clouds on the airplane. And the white guy said, you know, it's amazing. He said, think of all the millions of people that lived in the ancient times and in the past. They couldn't even dream of being in the clouds like this. And look at us sitting up here talking. between the clouds. And I looked at him and say, think of all the ancient people that was in the past. They could see what we're seeing in their own minds. It could astro travel at will any time of the day and see the same damn thing. You see? I said, think about that. I said, see, what you're doing, you're falling into this thing to thinking the only advanced state on the planet when people were able to do stuff that we do now is at this particular time with Europeans. And that's why the Europeans think that they're so superior over other people. It's number one, the ones that do know, they hide the truth of our achievements and our superiority over them based on advanced technology on a whole nother level. And so it's interesting that you could get a white boy that was being innocent. He was not really being, he wasn't in the conspiring realm. He was just basically, they think that way. They think that what they're dealing with at this particular time on the planet is the most advanced. And this is a conspiracy by hiding what fragments of the achievements that they can find and what knowledge they do have. They hide all of that, and they only present the European model of what they call technology. So in so many words, what they can do is they can have advanced and vast amounts of information that they have recovered from the Africans that was left behind in 16 universities left behind by the Moors in Spain, which is black Africans. And they can have all this particular information, but they would, instead of putting this particular information outside of the lodge to the public of this vast advanced technology on much more advanced level than what they have now that they will never be able to duplicate, they would rather wait and figure out a way to get to the closest common denominator of what they can invent with their system of what they call technology, than to give the people the real information on this advanced technology that existed before it. They would do this and wait for they would rather wait for 100 years to figure something out than to give you the blueprints of stuff that the ancient man had that they don't know how to deal with. And so in so many words, when they keep coming up with these inventions, you say, the white man is great. The white man is great because he's the one that's inventing all this technology. And what he's doing is really not technology. In the particular African sense, only thing he's doing is giving you more concepts of convenience. Things that you don't have to use the mind, things that you don't have to use the spiritual ability to do, you have to do with gadgets and technology. So we can dematerialize cells and be on one side of the planet in a few seconds and rematerialize cells and travel physically from one part of the planet to the other. We can do these things. We have accounts of doing these things even written in our doggone ancient texts. You see, we can go to all forms of the universe and didn't have to leave the earth physically. We could go to those clouds and walk around in those clouds. Hell, they got mythology of people walking around in clouds. How the hell you think they got the mythology of them walking around in the clouds? They got the mythology because they was walking around in the clouds recording the shit. This is what the occult knowledge is about. Now, because you haven't experienced it, and because you haven't studied it, you can't say that this person is crazy and he's just making stuff up. You can only say this when you study this particular information. You see what I'm saying? When you study this particular information. And never ever on this planet Earth say that you are aware of the knowledge that exists, and the knowledge that you are aware of that exists is the only knowledge there is. Only a fool would do that. And never, never, ever feel satisfied with Western education to give you the fundamental basis of adequacy of knowledge. Because whatever they're going to give you is going to be inadequate. Because the simple fact they're only going to give you rudimentary forms of training to rule their society. You will never get true knowledge. That is left up to the lodge and left in the lodge. In the upper echelons of white societies that have usurped our particular information and preserved it. Now, we're not saying that they have the key to knowledge in a particular aspect, that the only way you're going to get the knowledge is go through them. No, I'm not saying that. We have vast storehouses of knowledge because it's never lost. And you can tap into that particular information. But you have to get to the basic rudiments of what I'm talking about as far as now going beyond history as black people and going into the mystery. So in so many words, the things that I'm explaining now and putting forth, and have been putting forth since when I started speaking in June of '92, and it'll be going on 12 years soon, but been working towards at least 15 years. The type of information I'm putting out and all is vast amounts of information. It explains these particular greater forms of what we call mysteries. No, it's not even mysteries. It's higher forms of technology and higher forms of knowledge. And we have the access to that. And as a result of going through these particular high forms of knowledge, as a result, we have now recovered just about anything we want to deal with at this particular time, based on particular energies and knowledge and the know-how of these particular things. And it's a resurgence and a return of the ancient information. And yes, don't think for 1 minute that the Egyptians, who knew that they were going to go into slavery 5,000 years before, they said it right in the Hermetic text, that they were going to go into slavery. Don't think for 1 minute that they weren't going to put things in place, or they didn't already know that deep in our DNA are the archetypes of collective unconsciousness. We wouldn't be able to recover this. Because after all, we're just the same people, reincarnated to this day. You see, nothing is ever lost. And in the Gospel of Thomas, which is one that never found itself in the Bible or was taken out in the Conference of Nicaea or those other 8 conferences, tells you that in the last days, all things will be recovered, and there will be no mysteries that is hidden, secrets that are hidden, or mysteries that were hidden that will not be revealed. So this is what we're talking about now, is taking it off of a spook level, where we can say that we are unveiling the information now in this modern time, which is advanced science. I'll give you an example. Talking with a white boy from the University California, Berkeley, someplace. And we got into the thing about the occult or the metaphysical realm or Crowley and different things and all. And I was saying, well, the Western man, he always dissects things compared to the ancient man who would observe things. So the ancient man could go in and he could observe animals, he could observe human nature, and he could basically heal people based on observing the human nature and tapping into the elements around him to find out what needed to be done to heal this particular person, or what needed to be done to live harmoniously with certain animals, or what needed to be done to deal with nature. I said, whereas the Western man, which is the European man, would have to dissect. He would have to actually destroy nature and destroy thousands amounts of nature and animals and life and even humans, which they do guinea pig on black people in the United States and around the world, and indigenous people, to come up with an answer on how to cure and somehow cure the symptoms, but not the cause. He never is a master doctor. He's only patching up the symptoms. He is not a healer. But he would dissect things where the African would literally observe the nature and become one with the nature and would heal it and never have to dissect it all. As a matter of fact, surgery was the last resort. That's a person that's hurt it's gotten an accident and it's dying right then. Now, they knew how to go in and do the surgery that way, but most of the time, that was not needed. So I was telling this white boy, I said, they can get certain aspects of, they can get some corn, they can get some coconuts, they can get some grapefruits, they can get some twigs, they can get some plants, they can get different things, they can get a statue of this. They can carve this and they can use this stuff and put it all together on an altar in a tray and heal your body based on what it is. And the guy said, now come on now. You're going to have to come better than me than that because he's trained the Western way now. He said, now you're going to have to come better. You're going to have to explain to me how somebody's going to get a coconut, a pig, well, I don't want to say a pig, a cat, or sacrifice this animal and go get a bunch of stuff in nature.
Final Destination is the franchise that terrified an entire generation about driving.
And then go get a bunch of inanimate objects, which is vibrating. Everything vibrates on the planet. And heal someone without dissecting them. How can he do that? Now, obviously, I'm sitting here in this restaurant with this white boy. The knowledge of this particular methodology had been lost for thousands of years as far as the ancient knowledge of how it is done. But the ritual and the tradition of the ritual was handed down from generation to generation that still worked. So here it is, you would have a priest would be dealing with certain spells and stuff, and he would have a tradition on what to deal with these particular spells and this particular ritual to cure something. But when you asked him the scientific way on how it actually worked, it was thousands of years before it was put together and all of it being handed down. The scientific measurement, they would not know sometimes. But they know it works, and it works over and over again. So the white boy was going to tell me, now you're going to have to explain to me how this thing works. Now, right then, I didn't know how the scientific way on how this thing originally was put together when they originally conceptualized this particular ritual. But when the white boy told me to explain it right then, I explained it. I tapped into the original source based on the genetic DNA. And he said what? I said, well, if you talk in general, everything has force fields. Everything has force fields, and everything is built up on different dimensions and different fields and different streams of energy. So only thing that the African had to do, or the ancient indigenous person had to do, was find something in nature that would correspond to that which is inside of the body. If we're talking about healing the body, this particular one, they could find something in nature that would correspond to the heart, the liver, the spleen, the brain. They would find something in nature because everything has not only force fields and streams of energy, but there's always something in the plant world or the animal world that is comparable to that which is inside of your body. And the only thing he would have to do was to match up the force fields of that which he would find in nature are comparable, comparable or that corresponds to that in your body, and they can actually heal the molecular structure, the cellular structure, the physical structure of your body by just matching up corresponding elements in nature. And the streams would fuse this stuff together and would actually heal without even going into dissecting the person or cutting the person open. And I explained it to the white boy that way, and he couldn't say nothing because it was profound and it was the right way to do it. But I called it up on the spot because nothing is never lost. It is in our DNA. It's in the molecular structure. So this is the kind of advanced knowledge we're talking about on this particular level. Well, another form of healing was we have the spiritual realm, the spirit realm, which is now all taboo to people that's in religion. Religion very rarely does with the spirit realm. Just tell you to pray and believe it's going to be all right. But there was the spirit realm. And there was entities in the spirit realm. And those entities could come in and heal because they would be the doctors. Just like you have a team of doctors, there's a team of doctors working around the clock to save this person. Well, there'll be a team of spirits, team of ancestors, a team of spirit realm, a team of gods that could come in and could actually heal that particular person. You see, because the physical body is the most easy thing on the earth for the spirit realm to heal. So one thing they would do is take them, find out what spiritual entity or spiritual energy is his astrological, astronomical, cellular structure line up to, take him to that particular temple that is the guardian of the head of that particular temple based on what his zodiac or based on whatever his energies are. There's a different god that corresponds to his particular energy. Take him to that particular temple where that god sits over his head, put him on the table.
So water bottles have BPAS, and your tap water has trace chemicals. What are you supposed to drink?
Do the ritual and call down the entity come down there and knock it out in a few minutes. But we're talking about advanced knowledge and science. You see, and this stuff is privy to us now. But you can't be messing around in faith and excuses not to learn advanced knowledge by thinking everything gonna be all right. You see what I'm saying? We are world-class people now. We are into the 2000s. You see what I'm saying? And this stuff now has come around. You see? And that's the type of science we're dealing with now. We have the science to deal and do with what we want to deal with. But then again, on the other hand, we can't be superficial about it. In this particular aspect of a lot of things that we really want is stuff that we don't need. Now, you can't be stupid about it. The comfort zone sometimes is not necessarily the best way to go. My point here is, how much comfort do you want? How much comfort do you need? So let's not be funny with this mess. You're not going to get the spirit realm to finance your lunacy of trying to live like these white folks and all these other people around the earth racing to be millionaires. Let's be practical about this. It's not about that. It's not about that. Isn't it interesting that the stuff I'm talking about right now, a person who's been a millionaire for years would probably be more interested in what I'm talking about now than broke people trying to be like them. You know what I'm saying? White people spend billions of dollars trying to find the secrets and the keys to the universe. They're following us while we're following them. Now, as a result, these things are opened up. There's certain powers and things that is opened up now that we didn't even have 10 years ago. We have now. We just don't know we got it. Why? Because our
Hey, Stick Man, talk English.
We are still
Welcome.
looking to be equal to him, and he's not equal at all. He's not equal at all. It's just that he has leveled us and everybody on the planet to such a low level to even just to look up and see the top of the hole is high enough for us, although we in a damn hole. Because he has put us on the lowest plane. And so therefore, by us being on the low level, you see, it don't take much to please us. And then he's the one that's dealing with the illusion by thinking that we need every damn thing. You know what I'm saying? Take for instance, I hardly see people that can barely live outside of a cell phone now. 98% of the people, it's literally a second appendage. It's second appendage. It's literally a new earring. But let's just think about this. 12 years ago, they didn't even have cell phone on the mass level. 10 years ago, they didn't have it. 7 years ago, they didn't have it. They just started getting into it about 6, 7 years ago. But before that, nothing. So my point here is 1990 was only just a few years ago. 13 years ago. And it wasn't a mass marketed thing. And we got along just fine, and we thought we were modern in 1990. We had just about everything, and we got along, and we function on the earth just as advanced as anything else. So what makes you think now at this particular time you can't live without a cell phone? Now, I'm not trying to tell you that if somebody gives you a cell phone or you got this kind of thing, it might be some form of convenience. But then again, I am trying to give you the paint a picture to illustrate on how a lot of things you don't really need. So when we're talking about these things, you can't put it in the concept of modern wants and needs, because a lot of that can be insanity. You know what I'm saying? And I know this because the simple fact, when you go to a spiritual level, not only do you not need them, you don't want those things. Full mind, empty house. Empty mind, full house. See what I'm saying? Why you think the girl in the ghetto gotta have 4,000 earrings on?
Oh, my phone is so slow. I had to delete like half of my apps just to watch some trendy videos. I didn't have to do all that. How? Because I use TikTok Live.
And a ring on every finger. That doesn't have anything to do with African symbology. Why do you think when the unlearned of us get money, they go through it and they buy enormous amounts of things and be broke? That's because they who have been lowered to another level, to a low level, think that more is better. More is not necessarily better, it's just more stuff. You see, that is the sickness of what happens when you take it to a low level. Give you an example. I live on a street in Atlanta, Georgia, Rogers Avenue. And the architecture on the street I live on, about 7 or 8 miles across town, there's another neighborhood called North Highland and Candler Park. And the same architecture that the houses in Candler Park and North Highland that white folks live in is the same architecture that's on my street and 2 or 3 streets over from me. Because, you know, most black neighborhoods used to be white neighborhoods. But yet, our neighborhood just don't look the same as the white neighborhoods. Although I'm not talking about a ghetto. I'm not talking about trash and filth. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about on my street, there's nice homes. Real nice homes. They're older homes, but all of them are nice, and the street is fairly clean. They cut the yards. Hell, most of them cut their yards more than me. But when you go to the other side of town, the same architecture built by the same architect, somehow it just looks different. To give you a thing of the mindset. And it goes a little something like this. Black people, after they moved into those particular homes, those homes used to have what is called sun porches. Sunrooms or sun porches. They would have a house and they would have a porch built on to the side. Built on to the side. And these arches and different things. All of them had different designs. Somehow, when the blacks started moving in, they needed more room. More was better. So they screened in, just about all of them on that street, screened in the front porches. I put windows and stuff, and even boarded in some of them, and made an extra room. If they didn't screen it in, they made an extra room into those particular sun porches, and they messed up the original design to the house. So you got this house that don't look, because something is wrong, because what used to be this open foyer, this open porch, is now glassed in or screened in or boarded in. front porch. Because in our mind, more was better. So one neighbor did it, and the next thing you know, it caught on. But yet we can go across town to the white folks that got the same architecture, and all the architects got the original design to them. And as a result, it looks better. I say that to say, on the other hand, you got to free your mind with the wants and needs of everything that comes out. I'll give you an example. Everybody has a VCR. VCRs have been running the show for the last 26 years. At least the last 24, 25, but by 1980, people started getting VCRs. Now, the DVDs are out now. Now, the first thing you're going to do to make the mistake, you're going to get rid of your VCR, which is going to be a mistake because you can't record on that DVD. You got to have a little more different technology. And that's what they're trying to do. The government wants you to get rid of the VCRs because you can record things, and they understand that by you being able to record, the recording ability on a VCR and a camcorder in these particular cameras is different. You need more. You can do the technology on the DVD, but it's limited right now based on the accessibility of what you can do with a VCR. You know, certain TV shows you can record, certain documentaries the government put on one time and say if these niggas don't get it, they're not gonna get it again. And if you got a videotape up in there, you can record. You can't do that with DVD right now. And that way they can control what you do. You see what I'm saying? So this is a new thing. So don't get rid of your VCRs because you got your DVDs. But then again, on the other hand, you blinded by technology. You see what I'm saying? So these are some things here, you know what I'm saying? I just want to put that out there to let you know that this particular new energy and new knowledge that we're looking into, don't look into this particular stuff as an ends to a means for you to take the same road in trying to be rich like white folks or other niggas. This is not a race for the comfort zone. This is a race for spiritual survival. You see what I'm saying? Whenever somebody's all messed up out here, and no matter what you do, that VCR, that DVD player, or that Lexus is not gonna doggone heal these people. You gotta know a little more things that's going down. You see what I'm saying? But all of this stuff is in the aspects of the occult and the knowledge of the forces of the universe that's much more advanced than that we know of other than praying.
Mi mes favorito. It's Hispanic Heritage Month, so let's show some love to our favorite Hispanic owned and funded brands at Occult. Starting strong.
And sitting around saying, in the Muslim, Allah is the best knower. I'm going to leave it up to God. You know what I'm saying? That's like saying, I'm going to leave it up to nobody. Do you think for 1 minute, if you just thought about it, if you weren't trained from a child, do you think for 1 minute, did God even recognize you even living? When you walk past a doggone ant pile, and the ant is saying that Bobby's up there looking down at me, so I better behave myself, or I'm going to let Bobby handle it. This other ant about to eat off my foot, but I'm going to let Bobby handle it. But I'm standing up in the yard looking down at the ant pile, and to me it ain't nothing but a group of ants running around, and I don't know nothing that's going on down there. But I thought like it is with God. You will never know not unless you tap into your own energy, because that is where the heaven realm is. And the only way to know God, which is yourself, is it not written in your law that ye are gods, and the scriptures cannot be broken. John chapter 10, verse 34, 36. And that's the Bible. But that's the basis to esoteric stuff. You are the microcosm of the macrocosm. And you best believe it's got something to do with you tapping in. So you say, well, no, I believe in God and the universe. Yes, there are forces that's on a greater mass than you, but you're the same force. We say, what do you mean? If I take a glass of water and go to the ocean and dip the glass of water in the ocean, is not not the content in the glass of water the same content that's in the ocean? It's the same. So whatever the heavenly bodies are, you are the same product. So if God is out there above, God is here below. As above, so below. As within, so without. So you got to understand these particular concepts. You know, these particular concepts. You know, this is what's going down. We're going to come back in a few minutes and still give you some introduction to the science that's going on.
Thank you, Bobby Hendricks, for that beautiful lecture, and we'll be back in This is part 2 of MS Halloween.
All right. We're back on.
Yeah, we're back on.
Okay. So, to get into this, exploring what all this is about, give me a question as far as exploring what the occult is about. What is one of the questions that you think would be the most frequently asked?
How can we, in 2003, use the knowledge of the occult to further our progress right now in this country?
Okay, first you have to break that down into baby steps, increments. The first thing is I think that at this particular time, to draw in energy, I think that any of your dwelling places, you should have an altar. That's quintessential, and most indigenous people around the world have altars. It's only the Western religion factor, basically Christianity and Islam. When I say that, because these particular ones, they're so hard. Christianity and Islam, they're so hard on this particular aspect of the hard-nosed fundamentalism, and you can throw in aspects of Judaism, although all of these particular religions in their infant state or in their inception, they have all the ritualistic stuff about them. But in so many words, because they're so built on moralism and making evil out of any kind of practitioner of the spirit realm, a lot of times the Western world being the inheritors of this.
At the University of Mary Hardin-Baylor, we believe your remarkable potential deserves a university where discovery and
we being the people that this was forced on, we tend to basically not have altars. So we're not talking about giving you some alternative way to pray. No, we're not talking about that. We're talking about building an energy conduit or an energy base within your dwelling space, in your home. That should be first and foremost. Should be in your home. Most homes that would have an altar and a certain amount of energy would be protected from break-ins and different things. Especially if you set up an altar and in this particular case set up a device for protection. Well, what is a device for protection? In so many words, do you know that basically if you set up an altar and you sat down and you contemplated in your mind what would be something as a device of protection? What type of object, what type of anything that I would say that I would want to put on this altar for protection. Do you know that the most powerful one is the one that would come up out of your mind? You see, we're not talking about old rituals and things that's been depleted because of some ancient priest put some formula together or some strategy together 1,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago. We're talking about a new eon of energy, and this energy is coming from inside of you. You're the ones that's returning to the lofty state. So therefore, the most important ritual is one that you think of yourself. That would be one of the most important rituals. I would suggest for some people, for bibliography purposes, was to get the latest book by Philip Cooper. Philip Cooper is a guy, he wrote a book called Magician. Now, I don't know if that particular book is in print, The Magician by Philip Cooper. I think it's called Effective Studies in Magic, or Studies in Effective Magic. Effective Magic. But he does have one now called Basic Magic. And the only thing I want you to do is to get the book, to study the book on a guideline on how magic is done, just to get a simulation or the concept in your head. I'm not telling you to actually go and do what he tells you to do in the book. I just want you to get, if not his book, any book on basic magic and basic rituals, and just to get a concept on how to deal with it or what's going on. But I don't necessarily want you to do what's in the book. Now let me explain. Stores like Barnes and Nobles, Borders, and all of these particular mass national bookstores have magic sections. There's a reason why the government feels safe to have magic sections in all of these stores, because none of that magic works. So they can print volumes of books, because number one, some of the systems have been defunct for thousands of years. Some of the magic that the system, traditional systems that's still on the planet that's functioning, and magic has been depleted. So they know that most of the stuff that you go and buy in those books, they don't work. That's why they sell them. But I want you to go and buy a couple of these books just to get the concept of what all this is about. You see, what all that's got. There's tons of books out on basic magic. And get the concept of what it's about. After you get a basic premise in your mind, then I want you to go in and start making up the rituals based on your own self. Anybody can do it. You just do.
There are days I feel stuck in my head. Even on an antidepressant, lingering depression symptoms.
What comes in your mind, and have enough faith or have enough confidence in your mind to know that it's authentic, and do the ritual that way. So basically, dealing with the altar, we're talking about draping some type of cloth over something in your house. And the first two things after you drape the cloth is to start with 2 candles. We tell people these days to always deal with 7-day candles. Hand me that candle over there so that the people would know what this is. Deal with 7-day candles. Deal with 7-day candles. It is safe to deal with 7-day candles or any candle encased in glass. Do not use any candles that are not in glass. That's for safe measures. That's a no-no. First thing, because number one, you're not dealing with just something that you're dealing with a certain certain thing, a certain ceremony that you're gonna deal with in a few minutes. You're gonna out in the counter. Some of these things might have to take days, or some of these things you might want permanent. But if they're encased in glass, they're safe. That's the first thing. So you want to start with draping something over something wooden, preferable, but anything, a speaker, a table, or anything, and making your own personal altar, and start with either 1 to 2 candles. It could be 1, but 1 to 2 candles for 7 days.
Any particular color?
At this time, I think that the most New Age color is talking about, and I'm not talking about New Age in the aspect of terminology. The most color, the color I would think right now to deal with in the now would be blue. I would think that blue would be one of the key colors. Because the universe, which you call the triple blackness of space, it says in the book of the law, which was a book that was came by an angel by the name of Awas, it tells you that Newt, which is the great mother, say, I am black to the people who are blind, but I am blue to the people who can see. So I would say blue, but there's several things you can deal with and stuff. Red is a great time for a lot of high energy. White is always good. Green is good for money. You see what I'm saying? Green is good for money. So you can start with saying, yellow is good, gold. But I would think right now what you would want to do, and I would say blue, but I would also say, if you're going to build an altar, take the color that you like. Everybody got a favorite color. So your favorite color should be the color that you should put on your altar. Because that is your inner self. We don't know why we like certain colors. It just is. Your favorite color is the one that you should put on the altar. Because what we're dealing with here is we're dealing with something that is uniquely you. And so that means that the energy is going to be directed to you and for you. Because it's coming outside of you. You're drawing out something. So start with the best color that you like. So I said blue, but you might like pink. But it's a great color. It's the color of the goddess Urzuli in the voodoo. You might like yellow. Well, that's the color of the goddess Oshun in Europe. You might like red. That's the color of the goddess Sekhmet. You see, in Egypt. You see. Purple, the color of Osiris in some mythology. Green, the color of Osiris. You see, your whites and your blacks are dominants. But then again, if you want to deal with some real deal power, get a black candle. Depends on what you're dealing with at the particular time. What you're dealing with. So, but you want to start with that, and then you want to find out what type of entity that you want to deal with, or what type of ancestor. In this particular case, you want to deal with, let's start with the entities. There's a good book you need to get called The Dictionary of Ancient Deities by Charles Russell Coulter and Patricia Turner. Charles Russell Coulter.
The number one question I always get on this app is asking for my curl routine, so I want to show you guys the 3 products I use to get the perfect curls. It's been a couple days since I washed my hair, so it's time for a refresh.
Coulter and Patricia Turner. And that book would have just about every deity on the planet. You'll go through it. It's a dictionary, and go through whatever culture that you feel you're drawn to, and find a particular entity up, and then let it jump out at you in the particular aspect of using that. There's several things you can do. And then, I want you to adorn your altar with personal items, because that's closer to you. But I would also suggest put you a plate on the altar, and so you can put fruit, mainly that because you want to appease a certain ancestor, a certain god that you're going to be dealing with. You see what I'm saying? Or goddess that you want to be dealing with at this particular time. I can feel safe for saying this because most of the people at this particular time right now should have some type of method of study. We're coming out of the age of following people. So the good part about me is I'm not interested in you following me a damn place. You're coming out of the age of that. So if you're not going to try to study, then you might as well go on back to the ignorant world because there is no place for you in progress of doing things in the esoteric realm or doing something new if you're not going to check out the information and study. There's too much stuff on the internet. There's too many bookstores out here for you not to be reading. You see what I'm saying? Just remember this. It's not based on what you read, but how you read. When you read these books by chapters, read these books by paragraphs, read these books from the index, if they do have index, or the elaborate contents. Start that way instead of taking a book and reading it from cover to cover. I found out in my vast library and my vast field of studying in the last 15 years, and you rarely learn that much by reading a book from cover to cover. You research books. Now some books are novels and some books can be, they're written for you to read from cover to cover and you can be inspired. But a lot of these books that we're talking about here, that you read things and all, they're like textbooks. If you read it from cover to cover, you don't really dissect it and you don't really get into it. So I want you to read like you research. It's the best way to do it. Go straight to the source. And especially if books have index. Especially if books have index. For those who can't read, there's tons of videos out here that you can deal with, because we gotta have that. We have people on the planet that's illiterate. It's not just black people. So those who can't read, there's tons of tapes and tons of things that you can deal with to somehow help you along. I have over 200 tapes that you can deal with. So we deal with that particular thing. Start with that as the energy basis at this particular point. Start with the altar to get a certain amount of energy. One good thing also too for you women and for men, but especially for women, if you feel that you're going to be in danger, there's an old ancient science, if you wear purple, that somehow that's a protecting type of energy. Let me give you another one. There's a black dog called Anubis, or Anpu, that is in the, I think if you can shine the light here, I can show them Anubis. Can you go up? Can you see him? That's Anubis, or Anpu, Anubis. The black dog is in the middle. Sometimes he's standing on two legs, sometimes he's on his stomach, on all fours. Sometimes he's seen as a dog, sometimes he's seen as a dog head with a man's body. You want to take the black dog Anubis. For some people that have a problem conceptualizing this thing, just think of a Doberman Pinscher, which would be the closest modern animal to an ancient Griffey, which is the animal that it was taken after, an African dog called a Griffey. It would be a Doberman Pinscher, almost identical.
What's your favorite app right now?
I don't know, let me check.
Wait, that's an Android?
Yeah, I love Android.
Imagine Anubis or the Doberman Pinscher. For you people that study, just get you a picture of Anubis. There's several Egyptian books, and all of them have Anubis all on it. But you want to get what you want to do, let's say you're walking down the street at night and you want to be protected. Women or men, because it's dangerous out here. Or sometimes it's not as dangerous as the news would lead you to believe. A lot of times people get in crime, they fucking around in places they don't need to be in the first damn place. You know what I'm saying? And you ain't got no convenience store wrapped around your waist. So a lot of times we don't get mugged, and a lot of times a lot of that is in our minds. And the white boy has created a fear right in our black community that really never existed. Because I never run into it, and I'm in all kinds of cities. But let's just say for protection, because I'll give you one who sometimes you need to be protected from. It ain't your own people. But let's just say for protection, if you're walking late at night and you want to be protected, only thing you have to do is take the black dog Anubis that you're going to find in these Egyptian books, put him on a chain and a leash, and imagine him walking beside you. You don't even have to put him on a chain and a leash. Just imagine him walking beside you. I don't want to disrespect. Don't put the chain and leash. Just imagine him walking with you. Either as a picture of as a form of the dog, the Doberman picture, or the form of the man with the dog head, and have him walk beside you, and ask Anpu or Anubis to protect you. And you say, well, where am I going to get a dog from? I'm not talking about a physical thing. I'm talking about the realm of imagination. It's called creative visualization or imagination. So you imagine the dog Anubis walking beside you, and guarantee nothing will be able to penetrate that protection zone. Another good protection, you're driving around at night, you don't want to be stopped by the car, you take Anubis. Ask him being on his stomach, prostrate, horizontal, and you take him and you put him on top of your car as you drive. You won't have no problem with the police because he's protected. That puts a force field around the car. When you're traveling on a plane, I put Anubis on the plane every time I travel. You know, every time I travel. Or you can get creative and go buy you two Anubis dogs and put them on your front porch. But if you better put them in stone because niggas will steal them. You know. But you can do several things like that to protect yourself. You know, to protect yourself. You can also take red meat, bloody red meat that you get out of the supermarket, and you can rub on all of your tires on your car. Just take the meat, take a slab of steak, and rub the tires. Get as much as you can on all four tires. Buy your four pieces. You know, and get it in your hand and rub the meat on all four tires. You won't get in no wrecks. You won't get in any wrecks. You know, rubbing on all four tires, and you won't get in any wrecks. You see, these are things that you can do. I spit the rum. You'll get me the alcohol 4 ways. Well, the first thing you want to do to purify your house is you want to learn how to the rum or some form of alcohol in 4 ways. And when I say a spit, I'm talking about like a spray. Like you take this and you go. You spit this 4 ways. And as a result, you strengthen the force field around you. You do this in your house and you can do this. Spit 4 ways in every room. Or spit in 4 corners. Spit in this corner, this corner, this corner. And this is the way you bring a certain amount of energy to your house.
At McAllister's, you're never just another order number.
bring a energy to your house. But if you're traveling in a car, this is good to spit 4 ways and ask the entities or the ancestors, your ancestors, to protect you when you're in your car, because you don't want no Smokey Bear fucking with you. A lot of time we ain't talking about niggas, we talking about the white man. Or we talking about some old knucklehead nigga out here in some police uniform. You know, there's several things you can do. They rolled up on my house about 4 days after 9/11. They couldn't even find my shit. It was embarrassing. They couldn't even find my house. That was on 9/11/2001, and then on December the 19th, 2001, they rolled on me again and got the wrong fucking street. It was embarrassing. So there's things that you can do. There's things that you can do. Get you some green candles. Burn you some green candles for money. You know what I'm saying? For money. But let me tell you another thing also, too. The spirit realm said, a lot of times, for you people that's moderate, the spirit realm indicates that a lot of times when you do these things, if you ask for currency, they run into problems, because there's different types of currency. We just think of the dollar bill, but there's thousands of pieces of currency all over the planet. So they get confused when you say, I need some money. They're like, well, goddamn. You know what, Nigerian money? And it could have been money in the past, because they can see from the past and the future. What, you want some Confederate money? When you just say money, hell, they got all different types of countries with currency. So in so many words, focus on what you want. And ask the spirit realm. You can use the green candles for prosperity, but focus on what you want. A lot of times, to get what you want, other than focusing on the actual money. Because it runs kind of funny with currency. And that's what happens a lot of times. That happens a lot of times. And basically, one of the greatest ways that the spirit realm works is they always put things in your obstacle, put things in your way to bring about the type of money or type of prosperity. It can be a person that'll come up and give you a great deal or something. You just got to understand when the spirit is working for you. You know, I tend to come into more money whenever I spend my last dollar. You see what I'm saying? Which ain't a long time, let's put it that way. Spending my last dollar could be, and I'm talking about the last dollar I got on the earth. Shit, that can be 2-3 days from now, you know, because I'm the brokest man in the Western Hemisphere. I'm so broke, they get ready to cut off my refrigerator light. So, so my last dollar can be Thursday. But I find out when I spend that last dollar, and literally the last dollar when it comes to my black ass, money tends to come some type of way. Some type of way. These are particular things on that particular level. But what I really want you to do now as black people is somehow try to seek the meaning of where we are going, why we're down here, and where we're going. Seek out that particular origin. I think it's very key at this particular time for people to read ancient mythology. Mythology is the most advanced thing on the planet. If you don't think so, when you get some mythology, try to read it, you'll find out it can get very complicated. You know, and it's some of the most advanced things on the actual planet that you can actually deal with at this particular time. You got any other questions?
Yeah, the movie The Matrix. Revolution.
Yeah.
What do you expect to get out of this movie?
I'm hoping they can bring a better meaning, or bring some closure to this illusionary world that we do live in, called The Matrix. For you that didn't know, the movie was not just a movie, that was a concept that was made when The Matrix aired in 1999, the first one, when they talk about the world that we live in being an illusion, something pulled over your eyes to hide you from the truth. That is the basic element.
Rent a furnished private room with utilities and Wi-Fi for less than $135 a week with Pad Split. We already have more than 13,000 dedicated members. Just look at some of our member reviews. Ready to join? Fill up.
That I have found in all esoteric teaching. I want to use that word esoteric other than metaphysical, which is a much more lofty aspect of something that is hidden. In all esoteric teachings, the basis of all esoteric teachings could be Egypt, India, ancient Mesopotamia, even Greece, or whatever. The basic concept of esoteric teachings around the planet, including Aborigine from Australia, West Africa and all, the basic concept is the world that we live in is an illusion. A series of events that don't exist, only in our mind or the wiring in the brain. The Matrix did not introduce this concept. This particular concept is at the heart of all religion, even Christianity, when Jesus said, "This world that the world that I am is this world is not my Father's. I'm just passing through this particular thing." You know, there's one part in the Gospel of Thomas which is one of those particular texts that somehow got thrown out of this work we call it the biblical canon. In the Gospel of Thomas, they say, "Well, tell us where the kingdom of heaven is," and they say, "You won't find it looking for it." You see, so this is an illusion. So I'm hoping, and there's several books that you can get on it. There's a book called Dreams, Illusions, and Other Realities by Wendy O'Flaherty, which is a book that deals with all those particular forms of illusions. You'll find a lot of that in the Tibetan Book of the Dead, the Border Worlds, and this being an illusion. Several things. There's scientific books like Michael Talbert's Holographic Universe, which is an excellent book. Michael Talbert's Holographic Universe. So there's several books and all that deal with this all being an illusion. From the ancient world. From the ancient world, it's being an illusion. So I'm hoping that somehow they deal with that particular aspect. I hope they don't get caught up in too much action, and in so many words, them pairing off. Like I'm afraid to give the plot of the movie on Charlie Rhodes about a week before the movie aired, the last one, Matrix Reloaded. They said it's going to be somewhat like a truce between man and the machines, and stuff like that. So I'm hoping that they can get closer into somehow some form of freedom outside of the Matrix than just trying to make like everything is the way it should be. You know what I'm saying? If he said something at the beginning of the movie when he said something was wrong with the world, we didn't know what it was. When you need to really deal with that particular part that's wrong with the world. That's wrong with the world. So we'll see how that particular aspect goes. There's two good books out on it. One is called The Philosophy of the Matrix. The Philosophy of the Matrix. And one is also called The Red Pill. That's the second version of the book. So this is a big phenomenon. It's interesting because these movies are coming up on several time zones and different things that's happening. There's types of lineups. There's cosmic lineups like harmonic concordance, which is a cosmic lineup that is going to happen on the 7th, 8th, and 9th. So it's interesting they dealing with this doorway of the 5th, which is that Wednesday, but that Friday is when really the movie public goes to see this movie. Although they're going to open on the 5th that Wednesday, you best believe that when they go see this particular movie, the last one, it would be smack dab into this harmonics concordance, which is this cosmic lineup, which is going to be a lot of things affecting the planet. All of this stuff is going down right now, so we're looking forward to that particular aspect. Yeah.
Okay, Bobby, since we're closing out this year, what has been the most profound situation you have found yourself in this year and that has made you grow?
Well, basically, you know, I've been hitting at this thing for years with breakthroughs. Trying to get breakthroughs all of the 90s, where the vast amount of information was the recovery of information. And the recovery of information based on the theories of all of this and what the ancients said was supposed to happen when a person follows spiritual paths. And amassing all of this great information, all of the 1990s, what I did, and worked hard at it. And experimenting, trying to find breakthroughs to break through to another reality. Long before the movie The Matrix, but to break through to another existence. Those breakthroughs started paying off in 2000, 2001, 2002, and yes, 2003. So I'm on the several stages of breakthrough spiritually. In this particular aspect, we're talking about going to a certain level where you have an entity incarnate inside of you. Now that sounds spooky. That sounds like an alien movie. But the concept on what I'm talking about here, the entity that's incarnating inside of you, is not an alien from outer space. Although it is an alien in your body, that particular entity that incarnates inside of you, based on metaphysics, and based on the esoteric teachings of the ancients, is none other than your soul. Understand the difference. Everyone down here has a spirit. And 98% of what we deal with in the spirit realm is based on the spirit according to your body. But the soul is something totally different. The soul is where the spirit comes from. The spirit is merely a simulation of the soul. It is merely the energy that houses the soul. And the body houses the spirit. The soul is literally another universe and another entity within itself. It is an alien. It is the real you outside of the dream of who you think you are. The spirit has to deal with the dream and a series of illusions and a series of energies is cast off from the dream. But the soul is that which is really dreaming. Once the soul starts to wake up, it's no different than a new entity or a new person waking up inside of you. Although it is who you really are. The other part of who you think you are is what you were when your soul was dreaming. But when your soul wakes up, you become a whole other person and your dreams subside and your soul becomes the driving factor. In my particular case, the last 3 years from 2001 on up into now is my soul has had a series of awakenings. In the particular aspect that is coming of age now until I've had 2 bouts of going to no self. No self is when your complete identity of who you are on the earth disappears. And you don't even know yourself. And the world around you becomes insignificant. In so many words, I've been going through these particular processes. And the soul has started to wake up and start to come to another level of adulthood. in the particular aspect of completing itself to go into this new entity. That means this new entity is none other than a Superman. And the superheroes that we have, you know, the word hero comes from the Greek, the Egyptian word Heru, which is the Christ. Heru in Greece is hero. And that particular hero, or Heru, is a supernatural, a superhuman being. And in so many words, that's what you're coming into, more advanced beings. So I have been evolving more and more in those particular into that particular energy. And some of the things that help with that energy, I know that energy is dealing with, is I'm much more affected by certain things, like when Mars came the closest to the planet. So I've been much more affected by it. They had 2 solar flares of solar storms on the sun.
So water bottles have BPAS, and your tap water has trace chemicals. What are you supposed to drink then? Well, you can drink your tap.
Starting, I think, last Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, these solar eruptions of these gases and stuff. So I was affected by that. In the aspect of the solar things, because they were gas and erupted, and I started cleansing. You see, and the Mars coming, which represents the pineal gland, so my head started pulsating. And these are things that's actually coming online, so I'm actually affected by certain things that is happening in the cosmos and in nature, and different things like that. So these are some. So there's several single events that's actually going down. You know, like I said, you got the fires out in California. That's not by mistake, and let it be known that those are entities. Those are entities. Give you an example. Smokey Robinson fulfilled his name the other day. Why would he be named Smokey? And all these years he's named Smokey, and this doggone fire came in and burned up thousands of homes and got the Smokey Robinson house and doubled back. And even the little flares of fire that was flying in the air would hit his yard and go out. And as a result of they stopping that Smokey house, he saved a whole block of houses. That's because of the energy, number one, of the black man. And the energy of being Smokey and being an entity that gave joy and gave a certain amount of energy on the muse level. His energy was so strong in the name Smokey. Well, what does Smokey Bear do? Out in forest fires or protect. The word Smokey was enough, and the energy of who he was enough to save his house and other people's houses and stuff, because that's the kind of level we're going on to, because he's an indigenous person, which means he's a god. And so therefore, he had dominion over the damn fire, because the fires were entities. There's a lot more going on than you think. Those are entities. Those are spirits. You see, those are spirits. So there's a lot of things going on in the universe and in the world. You see what I'm saying? But first of all, your monitor and your meter cannot be anything based on what you call the regular news or what you've been trained. Now, I can watch the news and find out where they're going based on the lies, but your perception of the world around you cannot be given to you by the enemy or by the people that's trying to keep you entrapped in this particular form of illusion. You see, you have to think on a whole nother level also to tap into the spirit. You see? Yes.
My next question, we had talked about it a little bit while we were out doing our little traveling about the smooth jazz. What can you tell our audience about what role they're trying to, quote-unquote, brainwash us on with the smooth jazz?
Well, it's more of trying to control the muse. The muse is actually an entity that lives in our basic molecular structure and within the melanin, which is the lifeblood of black people. These muses, melosines, these things are much more advanced, and there's a lot more things in the ancient world explaining these things. And so the is something that is drawn out of people. They also knew that the muse, where you get the word music, or you get the word amusement, or museum, they understand that we would create, it creates for the body what the body needs to heal itself in a time of crisis. So that's why some of our greatest music came out of crisis. You see. So the government understood that the muse is a very active and intricate part of the inner workings of the soul. It is the soul's language to humanity through music. Not only coming out of man, but going back in man, because the muses are always people with talent that can help other people. So your talent helps other people's muses respond, which is nothing but the inner workings of humanity. In this particular case, the most highest form is black people.
Wow! Look at you. You've grown up so much, huh?
As far as dealing with this, how this muse realm works. So therefore, they must always retard it, guard it, and keep it under close wraps. So Motown, they had the Funk Brothers. The Funk Brothers was the guy's in-house band for Motown. And I was in Detroit about a month or two ago doing a lecture, and one of the guys said with the Funk Brothers, which was the in-house band of Motown, who basically did all the music for most of the acts and all the great stuff you dealt with. They never went to a lot of the other major recording studios because they stuck as an in-house band. As a result, the government was very interested in their whereabouts and what they did. And I met one of the brothers who used to hang out with them, was a close friend of theirs in Detroit. And he said that it was interesting that the government hounded them from the very start. The government, the CIA and the FBI is always on top of these brothers, always wanted to know where they were. You see what I'm saying? And always kept a close surveillance. So they get on top of the music. In this particular case, if they can distort the music, like take for instance, 98% of most music that we hear now is sampled music from the past. This is a way to make sure that the muse don't progress into the future. The other part here is a modified, homogenized, pasteurized, watered down version on a lesser repertoire of the deepest type of sophistication music can be. You got the opposite. So smooth jazz is a simulation of jazz. It's more instrumental R&B. It's gimmicks that sound pleasant more than complex rhythms to inspire to a new paradigm. There's a difference. It's the lesser repertoire. You can have a gimmick, something that is repetitious, that becomes a theme music for a background, other than a breakthrough music to catapult you and jolt you into the future. There's a difference. There's a difference between gimmicks. For all intents and purposes, rap music, although it's one of the greatest phenomenon on the planet, 98% of it is now gimmicks. Because the music part is nothing but fragments of stuff that was already made in the past. So that's the gimmick. The real deal talent that used to go into rap, because rap used to be very complex and talented now, is now going over to the lesser repertoire rappers, who is mostly gimmicks now. And we say this because 90% of what is in the black community now is either rap or some other lesser repertoire music. The great R&B, funk, R&B, the real deal stuff now has basically been suppressed. It's been suppressed, you know, compared to the spearheaded music that we had throughout the past. Most of the stuff now is gimmicks. It's a simulation of the real thing. You see what I'm saying? And all of the tunes and tones and melodies are designed not to reach into the inner ear nucleus of melanin. So you can hear music, but not necessarily receive music. You know, you can have a light on in a room, but no artwork. Same, it's quite different. The artwork can be a doorway to another universe or to another reality. But to have a light on a room with four walls, although the light is on in the room, you're tripping off the light because you got light. It don't necessarily mean anything. But it's the same thing by having noise playing all the time compared to having something, you see what I'm saying, that is inspiring or something that is something that is going.
How are we able to offer the Reed sofa for just $2.95 at Living Spaces? We design furniture with affordable.
Going to uplift or going to nourish. You see what I'm saying? It's just something that goes along with just having noise each day. You see, but you can't go deeper into the complexity of it. And even with the smooth jazz, it's really quite simple. You see, it's really quite simple. You see, there's nothing profound in it. You know what I'm saying? So this is all government simulation here. Keeping the people at a certain level. Keeping people at a certain level. You know, it's no more than religions. Everything is always good. Behave. Monitor everything as being nice and based on your behavior. And everything that has any type of flavor or characteristic to it or difference is bad. And we can't tolerate that. You know what I'm saying? So therefore, the soul never wakes up because it's not being jolted to the next level. You see, so there's a great conspiracy going on, especially with melanated people. You see, because we are the creators. You know, different aspects of that. Give me some more questions.
My next question has to do with the Occult. Why are you using that as?
Okay, we have several elixirs. What we found out was that you have what is called a spiritus. A spiritus means spirits, the spirits. That's why they call liquor spirits. The art of distillation did not come from the European. The art of distillation came from the alchemical disciplines coming out of ancient Egypt. The Hermetic schools, the schools of Tahuti, the priesthood of Om. And the art of distillating grains, wines, fermenting barley and hops into beer. First beer is made into Kemet. The idea of fermentation and distillation and fermentation is an alchemical art form that comes out of ancient Kemet. And alchemy is the highest art form of the Egyptian royal art. That is the highest level of what you call, even of Kemet, of the African mystery system. Because even behind the gods is an alchemical process, which means alchemy is the breakdown of the particles of the universe and the particles in man. And ultimately the study of melanin. But also in the particles in nature. So the art of distillation was given to the European by the Moors. And what had happened is in late 2000 and then in 2001, one, I started mixing different alcohols together based on the spirit realm. It gave certain things. Gave certain things. And as a result, these became medicinal. But there's also certain things, blended whiskeys that was old. This is from 1835. Old Crow. Blended whiskeys from Kentucky. Bourbon whiskey. You know damn well 1835, some slaves had something to do with this. In that culture. In Kentucky. Damn sure. So in actuality, but we're talking about something made on this particular continent, so it's a very powerful elixir that can be used for medicinal purposes also. Also, we do have to say that you have to call on certain entities also sometimes to get the higher level of these things working. Like the entities Oteacher, TH, and Sheola. It came through and gave me these different elixirs and these different products for medicinal healing. You know, so this is just another one that I got in the shelf of several other elixirs.
Okay, when you say healing, could you name two?
A few.
Yeah, just name a few of the things that could heal, on a physical level.
Just about anything because it's not really. This is the alcohol is only opening up a gateway. In this case, for entities to come in and heal whatever you want. You see what I'm saying? And heal whatever you want. You would have to ask the entities. Very key. Like I said, these three entities: Oteacher, TH, and Sheola. There's another one called Alcala, Queen Goddess Alcala. There's several ones: Oteacher, TH, and Sheola, Alcala, Locayo. You see, Nisaba, and Althea, Lucaya, Owalinsu, and Lalila. You see, these would be entities that you can use. Artemis or Artemis. When you get the tape and rewind it and hear what I said. Oteacher, TH, Sheola. Giving you all the goddess energies of this. Oteacher, TH, Sheola. Locayo. Queen Alcala. Queen Goddess Alcala or Alcala. Lalila. Owalinsu. Artemis. Some of the ones that you can deal with. Call on these particular entities. Get them off the tape that you're hearing. And you call on these entities or call on at least three of them. And basically, you can have them to heal what you want by taking a sip or either taking the elixir and putting on what you wanted to put on. And I'll give you an example. A brother called about a son that he says not walking, has cerebral palsy, but his motor skills and everything is going right. He's like one or something, he's just still not walking. So I told him to call on the Oteacher, TH, Sheola, and Alcala. You see what I'm saying? Or there's other ones I just named, and anoint his back with the elixir. In this particular case, the elixir was Gordon's London Dry Gin, and Windsor Canadian whiskey. Mix it together for the elixir, which is the premium stuff in the aspect of what they first came down with. Gordon's London Dry Gin, or any London Dry Gin, and Canadian whiskey, or I say Windsor Canadian whiskey, and mix it together. And I told him to put it on his spine, put it on his legs. You take a sip.
Oh my god! I just won $60,000 from my car crash from this app from my phone.
And specifically ask these entities, tell them what you want done, just like you're talking to a relative. And it's in the bag. The other great mystery to this thing here is you can't do shit just to see whether it works. You gotta believe. In this case, you got to know because you're going to have enough information and enough knowledge to understand that these spiritual things work. So you got to know it works, and that's going to be the magic. That's going to be the magic in how you get these particular things to work, you know, on that particular level, you know. But those are some things you can actually do. I told two brothers, I said, because this brother is doing this for his son. I told two brothers in the last 3 years that I could get them out of wheelchairs. Even before the elixir thing came, I told them to read a couple of books on the chakra system and learn about the chakras and the kundalini. There's a book called The Chakras and the Kundalini. And I told them to learn. I told them to learn about this. And I told them one guy in 2000 and another brother in 2001. I told both of them that I could get them out of the wheelchair to get back in touch with me. These brothers never got back in touch with me. And one brother I met a year later, and he didn't even read the book I gave him. And the other book, brother, is so disillusioned that these doctors are going to have him walking. He didn't even remember I told him to get him out of the chair a year later. And as a result, they still in wheelchairs. But when the energy and all the information came to do it, I was already telling the brothers I could get them up out of the wheelchairs. And now the information and the knowledge is here. But these niggas here is waiting on these white folks to invent new types of technologies, because here goes again. He has put himself as the criteria of knowledge and technology and progress and healing in your mind. And so therefore, you don't walk and you don't live. Whereas, if they did what I said, they all could have been walking right now. Because it's going to be the spirits, when I told you at the beginning of the thing, the spirits work on you. They were going to do all the work. And these spiritual elixirs just are gateways for them to come through.
Thank you, Bobby, for coming to Baltimore and, you know, bringing your powerful spirit and your energy here. And
Well, thank y'all for listening. Some knowledge. It's always good to learn something new. My mom was telling me about my dad after I told y'all about the incident where a man split him in the head with an axe and he became paralyzed. And he was in a wheelchair and stuff. He went to the Sanctified Church, and during those times, they were, like he's talking about, dead in a church. And they got him good enough for him to be able to walk, get out of the wheelchair, you know, and function, his right mind and everything. And he was supposed to go back and let him continue to heal him all the way, because he had shot himself in the hand also. But my dad didn't go back, and he could have been he still dragged his leg a little bit, been paralyzed a little bit from that incident, because when they hit him in the head, you know, it messed up one side of his body. He didn't go back. He was so glad he was walking and, you know, in his right mind, till he didn't go back to get the full healing. And he was good enough, but he could have been better, you know. And they did pray, and they did some things that he said when the church was really into healing, you know. And yeah, so he's not lying. Something else I want to talk about. I was looking at the movie SUPACELL, and it reminded me of the Gemini reading, the air reading I did yesterday, Libra, Gemini, Aquarius, but mainly Gemini. I looked at the part, I don't know what part it was, but I'm going to read it. It says, people, enemies from the future trying to kill them. So these people are coming from the future and trying to stop them from knowing their gifts of who they are and what they're going to change in the world. So they had some enemies that was from the future. And those were melanated people, because it was melanated people that has the sickle cell. And it says trying to kill them because of their powers. Same color as them, they are going to change the future once they master the full power, and they don't want that. So that's what we got going on today. Social, this another scene. His girlfriend was a social worker, and she was a true person. So I want to throw that in there to say that not all social workers are not good. Some of them are good. So, good and bad and everything. Maybe trying to help someone from the heart, but you don't trust, but they didn't trust her. It says one wants or like the powers to keep doing. Oh, these are the ones who discovering their powers, and this particular one was part of a gang. So when he got his powers, he used it for bad. One wants or like the powers to keep doing F shit, but the future people is after him also. Now, so he has to join a group to be stronger together. Okay. Friend that's Caucasian of one of the dope dealers. Him and his the other Caucasian black guy, melanated guy. He's mixed with white and black, and his Caucasian friend is trying to help him. He's proud of him. He's not jealous at all. Wished he had the powers too, but not jealous. Okay, he's not dwelling on that. Um, they sell drugs on the street, and the students, whoever want it. I got Club Strange Things. One of the females trying to see if a man. Now, I told y'all last time, if y'all listened to my last videos I had been doing, she discovered her powers, and her friend was outside of the club making out with this guy, and he was trying to have sex with her outside the club, and she was trying to stop him, so he was going to rape her. So her friend came and fought with the man, and she thought she killed him. But okay, let me see. Let me get of the females trying to see if the man that attacked her friend is dead. They had a fight, but he has powers too, and part of an organization that programs him back to life. So what they're doing is they're getting people who have the sickle cell, bringing them to, claiming they're going to help them heal, but actually they're putting them in cages and experimenting on them, and want them to use their powers for what they want them to use their powers for. They want to check your DNA in order to program you to work for them on some F shit. The father involved with mafia. Now this is another incident. Trying to get out and find a job. He um, he has a criminal record. It's stopping him from getting a job. He had a drug case at 18. He was driving a car. They set him up. Someone he picked up had some drugs on him, and when they seen the cops stop him, he put it under the seat in the back seat. They set him up. Someone he picked up planted the drugs under the back seat. He got charged for it. Used to be, or didn't tell employees about his past. So now he telling straight up when he go to an employer's office. If they're gonna refuse him, he don't want to wait until he get hired, and then they find out, and then they fire him. Not wasting his time anymore. They're still not hiring him. It wasn't his fault, and he explained it to him, but they still didn't believe him. The system is cruel. We know that. Wants him to do bad, evil stuff that he didn't do at all at first, so it's setting him up again. So went to a guy, wanted him, so he had a friend, told him about a drug bust he wanted to do, and he have no choice, he think, but to do it. He hurt and scared. He has a son to take care of, depending on him. But the robbery is going to be a trap. Because he has the powers, this man wants to use him for the job. So you run into people like that, okay? This is in South London, blame flex. I don't know what that means. This a mess. So they went check out the drug place, pretend like they want to buy something to see how many guns and how many people was there at the dope house. So it wasn't a lot, wasn't a lot of guns. So they think they can take it, so they can rob the dope people. So the gangsters, the gang, one has powers he uses for evil. One friend got shot in a gang fight. Oh, this was when wait, let me read it. One took up for him. Okay, it was his brother. His brother was talking noise in the gang, and they was gonna fight the brother, but they knew he was gonna beat the brother. So the other brother say, "I'll fight for you." He could fight that good. So after his friend, um, the brother, they were mad that the brother beat him. No, I'm not. I'm talking about the movie SUPACELL. How you doing, Smack? Welcome, welcome. Uh, they were mad and shot, so they got mad because they lost. So they started shooting at them, and one of them hit his brother, and he's in the hospital for in critical condition. Good to see you too. So now the heat is on. Revenge on both sides. Okay, so this is back to the dad with the couldn't get a job. So the dad took the drug job, didn't meet his child at the movies. He was supposed to go to the movies with his child. Now he taken to going to do the job. So the son is upset. So somebody had asked the son to go and do drugs, do some messed up stuff too. And he wasn't going to go because he thought his daddy was on the up and up. So now him and his daddy is getting involved in some fuck shit. Hey, Tasha. Tasha, I'm banned too. I don't know what that means, y'all. So his son is disappointed. And so the son is finna join a gang too. So they're at the drug house and still planning a robbery. A stupid decision. People who don't have the powers using people who do to do fuck shit. Bad bad and jealous people. Um, Chinese lay delivery. He delivered this another guy who trying to save his girlfriend because he found out that she's going to die. English, please. Die in the future. He didn't want his fiance to be hurt. They told him people from the future that she's going to die, so he's trying to change that. He's the delivery guy, setting dope dealers up at a gang. Okay. Um, a girl on the run for her life calls sometime every day to make sure her parents are okay, so she also has the gift. His girl fired works there. That's the girl social worker that's on the run. She don't trust the social worker. They have a lot of blacks in glass cages with gifts. Try to get their gifts, programming them to do harm. The girl that her friend has powers to still messing with dope dealers. So her sister don't have the powers. She does. And her sister's hooked on drugs. And her sister's getting her in some trouble. So she get her to ride with her to go get her some dope. And they don't know that a whole lot of shit finna go down. English, I'm gonna have to take you off here if you don't. Uh, the girl that her friend has powers to still messing with dope dealers, getting her in trouble. She's stupid. Sister hooked on drugs. He trying to get everyone together that has powers, so he's meeting up with the girl and other people to try to say we got to form together because they coming in the future to stop us, and it's going to be a war. No one teaching them or telling them they have powers, so some making the wrong decisions. So the sister jealous, she don't have the powers. They walking into a fight gang. She's trying to get drugs. Then a shooting war breaks out. One going in to save the Caucasian friend. Girls, their sister, she's caught up in, so now they're going to have to show their powers. 4 powers against each other, confused. So they meeting up in a dope house. Some of the dope people I told you have the powers, and the other ones that's there, and the guy coming to save them. All that in there. So now they all looking at each other with the powers, and that's starting a war besides the shooting going on. Didn't pass you off. People know who you are. Didn't that pass you, but you don't know. I've been using your gifts and don't. Oh, I was saying it's bad when you don't even know the gifts that you have, and they've been using you for your gifts the whole time. Okay, programming you for since you were born. They need to pay, definitely. Yeah, that's the little movie, the little series I'm still watching. So let's see. I'm gonna put down, see what message I might have for us tonight, morning, whatever it may be. What is pertaining to this? Just a general little reading. See what's going on. So we got King of Wands reverse. Got the Chariot. We got 7 of Wands. We got 9 of Wands. Okay. I'm gonna pull out my other cards too. Let's see what they come out of this deck. Interesting little pictures. I'm watching Extinct and that one. The other one, Black Beauty, I finished that one. I didn't know I was finishing that fast. And they all trying to wrap their mind around the girl that was a nobody is now the boss. Okay. Of a big corporation. The 5 of Cups, reverse. Under the King of Cups, that's a reverse. I'm just a nobody trying to tell everybody. 8 of Cups. Drinking while driving. 21, Sun. Reverse, Queen of Swords. And then they want me to take this on top. 22 and number 9. Okay, let's see. Alright, I want to pull out my other ones too. We'll read them in a minute. The dog of time. He was just talking about taking Anubis and putting your home. Hey, Jessica. It's $5 for a question and $45 for a reading. Our reverse. Yeah, he was talking about using Anubis for protection in your car and a home and outside your home. Okay, then red and the sun. So what do we have here? And the moon. At the moon, and okay, let's see. Ooh. King of Wands reverse. Can't lead, controlling, reckless, not in charge, force, or special. Okay, somebody who not in a full armor, not in a full mindset. Could be ruthless and reckless. Could be a lot of issues going on. Why they so mean, or why they so, it's not in the right mind. Okay. Sometimes people who mean have a lot of issues from childhood. Then we got the Chariot. So could be flying, could be driving, any kind of transportation. Driving too fast. My grandkids was with their dad, Capricorn, and he was driving too fast. Scared the shit out of him. And had a newborn in the car. What's up, Levi? How you doing? That was a bad thing. So they was protected. Okay, so the person who's driving, they're protected and they're defensive. Okay. It says police, soldier, standing up for what you believe in. And we got 9 of Wands. Got Wands so far. So it's action being done. And that is wounded, third eye blocked, protected. But it's like you might have been in the car, like I said, my grandbaby was called somebody driving fast, but they like, damn, at least I'm okay. You know what I'm saying? I'm shook up, but I'm not dead. Then we got 5 of Cups. So this person may lie, because the next one is 8 of Cups. Could be in their feelings, or they could be lying about how many drinks they had. This could be getting stopped by the cops and smelling it and being defensive with the cops. Okay. We got Scorpio, Pisces, along with the Chariot. I forgot it was a Chariot. I say Sagittarius, Cancer. Then we got the Wands, Libra, Aries, Sagittarius. So we got, again, Pisces and Cancer. Okay. And we got 21. I could read out the book now. Would you do something for me? It says success and attainment. Remember then some very that entire what's it say? At the of the world belongs to the Empire of Light, and that the Empire of Light is his throne which God reserves for the sanctified will. Thou wilt gather the fruit of knowledge of good and evil, and drink of the eternal fountain. if thou art sufficiently master of thyself to approach it without coveting, obstacles will disappear from thy path, and thy destiny will have no limit save those of thy will. Okay, I'm thinking too that if this person was not drinking and maybe something's going on, or maybe medication, if you don't want to hear it, y'all don't have to be here. Or maybe medication or something like that. There could be something that's going on. The cops pulled them over, but they didn't take them in. Maybe they told them about the what's going on with them, something like that. But then they could, with that 8 of Cups, they could have been, or maybe how they were feeling too. Okay, so it works. Success. Okay. Then we got Queen of Swords. So whatever they told them, it worked. Okay, Queen of Swords signifies a person ruled by the sign Virgo. Studious, rather even-tempered, ingenious, and witty. Reverse indicates a Virgo man. I analyze. So they got it, they figured out a way of what to say that was going to be successful. People would believe them. I stopped drinking, or I wasn't drunk. I wasn't feeling some type of way. I taking medication. I probably shouldn't have been driving. Blah, blah, blah. Then we got player, and also protection, Anubis. Okay, so we got a player here. Leo, Taurus, Aries, Cancer, Libra, Cyrus. So this person is protected. Okay. Then we got, but it wasn't wise though, because they lied about the drinking. It wasn't wise at all. Okay. So I don't know if they hurt someone. Red Queen. We got fire sign again. Someone passing away. Or someone's keep thinking about someone that passed away. Maybe a Leo, or getting exposed. Maybe that could be why they were driving fast or reckless or drinking, because they keep thinking about a death, someone they cared about. Okay. And we got the moon. It's just they're keeping it a secret. They're not telling anyone what's going on. Cancer, Pisces. Manu and Lisa, the moon goddesses. Sandman, drugs, prison. They scared of going to prison. Drinking, mental end. Transformation, meeting the gods. Okay, then we have 22. What is that? What is on this one too? Tower. Then we got number 9. Then the death. Okay. Let's see. 22. Materialism. Folly, mistake, and failure. Remember then, son of the earth, that all things physical pass away, and that before the soul can pass to the higher realms, every debt to nature must be paid to the utmost farthing. Imprudence threatened to encompass thy ruin, and thou will be called upon to pay for thy folly, unless thou immediately change thy ways. Now the kids say that someone was following him, 3 Spanish guys, and trying to get in the car. So that's why he was speeding. And a tower here, big catastrophe. And then we got number 9, a storm or some intervention. Let's see. Because it's elderly Aquarius energy. Avoid trouble, karma. So this is their karma, something about a death. It says wisdom. So they didn't have any wisdom here about this death. It's number 9. The sage, Sagittarius energy, wisdom and prudence. Remember the son of the earth. Prudence is the armor of the wise. Circumspection, abilities. No, is it abilities? Enables one to avoid snares and abyss, and to foresee treason. Take it for thy guide in all thy actions, even in the least. Nothing is indifferent here below. A pebble can overturn the chariot of the master. So we got the chariot here. Keep in mind that speech is silver and silence is gold. So they calmed it down. So there was a Aries energy. Someone is shaken up or scared, or somebody's trying to hurt them, trying to kill them. Got Cancer energy. And secret. That's trying to keep everything secret. Don't want nobody to know. Yeah. Devil Capricorn. About a death. Sick. They're feeling sick. They could be sick or sickness. Talking or fighting. Okay. Police, Knight of Wands, important letter. New love. At the fish reverse, a message from Pisces reverse. Underwater, deep. I don't know if they found somebody in the water. Storm. Deceased. Or drowning. And we got Horseman again, Horseman of Coins. The note starts relating to health or money. Reverse. They are plots to unfairly obtain money from him. So somebody owe money. Either a threat to kill them, or somebody they love, or expose them about a death, or they borrowed money and didn't pay. Something going on. The state karma. I got your love. Don't need to look no further. Irish. Political conspiracy, rattlesnakes, insect world, and critters. Oh, let me show y'all. My grandkids was at the park, and that's what they seen in the park today. Well, yesterday. Oh, shit. Look at this. What? I could have swore I just, dang. I could have swore I just, oh well. It was a snake. It was a, I had the video, but it's on that phone. It's a, poisonous black and white snake. It says rattlesnakes too. Yeah, like that. They seen that today. Good thing it was passed on by their path. You too, Aaron. Hi, Darren and Aaron. Welcome, welcome. Appreciate y'all. Y'all give me likes when y'all come in. If y'all did, thank y'all. So yeah, political conspiracy, rattlesnakes, insects, world critters. So yeah, they seen a snake today. It says community service, court, or help. Okay, they walking in the park, the community. It says honor your ancestors. They protecting you. Betrayal. Betrayed your trust. Your husband is hiding money from you. May want you dead. Wow. Your wife and others. Could be husband or wife. Let's see. It's always about the money, ain't it? Sad, can't trust no one. They may be paid to take me out. The Greys are on the move to kidnap. So I'm thinking if you got kids and they take you out or put you in jail, your kids going to CPS. The Greys have a chance to experiment on them. See, it was a setup the whole time. Somebody might have been doing this for money, but they didn't realize they just fucked their children up if they got kids because it was a setup. That was just talking about with the movie. They know y'all got gifts, especially your kids. So that's the way to get them to get your kids legally, because you just fucked some shit up. If they can take more out, family members, and nobody's there to take them, then they end up in the system. They can experiment on them, program them to make them do what they want them to do. See, that's the people not realizing why they doing this fuck shit. They really targeting. They know who is what. Don't forget that. They know who has powers. They know who came to change the world. They know who is special. It says aunt. See, we don't know who karmics follow us. Okay? From future, past, whatever. They could have orchestrated this. Could have got in your bloodline some type of way. And orchestrated this whole thing so they can order for them to get your kids or get you. They doing some fuck shit in jail. And if they kill you, they definitely can get whatever they want out your body. Coming out of the sea. So that's like a water sign to me. Then we just said about fish and drowning. Pisces, reverse drowning. So something coming out of the sea. Ancestors also, the Orishas, Mami Wata now. Mermaid. So what's up with that? It's already the tower, so it's gonna be a fight. Everything is going to work out in your favor. Hello. Neighbor in front of you. What about them? A white truck or van. Could be watching you. Neighbor could have surveillance or something. They everywhere. They on here right now. They hearing everything I'm saying. Bullying the handicap. Forrest Gump. It made me think of somebody in an apartment, might be sickly or elderly or in a wheelchair or whatever. And they're using their apartment to spy on you. That's what I'm thinking. And treating a person bad, of course. Gambling. Taking a chance. Late at work. So now you got somebody on your job. Sacrifice Scorpio. Fake pregnancy. Reverse, not pregnant. Or pregnant. They want the baby. Remember I was telling y'all about the extinct with Halle Berry. They got her pregnant, some entity, and then took the baby from her and hoping she would go crazy. You have to tap into, John, how you doing? You have to tap into your own DNA. You have it in you. You have to study, talk to your ancestors and guides. You know what I'm saying? It's in you. You have to bring that out. That's the secret. It's already in you. You already know. You just don't remember because they took it. They messed with your memory. Eating the wrong foods. You know what I'm saying? Whatever lies they told. The programming. So you have to do some work for you to bring that out of yourself. That's nothing to ask nobody because me and you from, what I know and you know could be two different things for what you came here to do, So you can't get nobody else's stuff. You have to go into you and pull it out because you were here before. You are ancestor. Hi, Steve. Drink a lot of water. Eat a lot of vitamin C. And get you some cereal that's fiber. Kill his or her mother. Werewolves. When people set you up or lie on you and you do it back or expose them, now you're the narcissist. Don't do the crime if you can't do the time. Hello. Roman age, Greek, Italians. Oh, okay. Black eye bruises may be hiding them. Oh, you're welcome. Somebody that could have been a fight with that tower there too. I think I said that. Putting poison in pills. I was watching a crime show, and this lady on one side of town, she took some, I think it was some simple medication, and she got some kind of poison that was for the fish or algae or some shit, and she took it. It was a little the aspirin or whatever it was, a little tubes. So she crushed it up and put it in the tubes to kill her husband. So she got away with it. Then on the other side of town, or out of town, another lady husband went to the store to buy some aspirin. And what she did was she did it not only in her husband's bottle, she put it in on the shelf at the back in the stores. So some kind of way it ended up at this other lady's house, and her husband took it. So they weren't sure how he died, but they were blaming the wife. And come to find out, the wife that killed her husband from another state or another side of town was the one that did it. And she was so dumb, she called the cops and told them to investigate how her husband may have died. Taking to say, I guess she thought she can get part of a lawsuit, that the woman was going to put a lawsuit because they found out it was that pills. So she thought she was slick. I guess she didn't get enough money from the insurance. So actually, they started investigating her and found out she was the one that did the whole thing. That's what this reminded me of, putting poison in pills. I was saying. Yeah, and that person has to be in sync. We do it a lot, without even knowing. But it's something to really study, for especially for these days, especially for you and your kids and stuff. Because you can give them information if something going on and you don't want them to come home or whatever the deal is, or they can tell you, come pick me up, somebody finna do some fuck shit. You can talk to your mind, you know what I'm saying? You feel them anyway, you know what I'm saying? And you can kind of know if you got that, insight or whatever. But yeah, I was hired to destroy you and your family's life. That's that auntie. Break out up. Don't blame me. This was my profession. Your brother Aries. Okay. He, her teacher is sent by government, secret society to mess them up. Watch y'all kids at school. They be doing some fuck shit. You don't know who real, who not, who Cabbage Patch children, who clones, who robots, who demons. You don't know who in that schoolhouse. That's why I say everybody should be raising their kids at home. Want you to be jealous of them. Competition and competing on what? I don't even know. Everybody got their own set of everything to bring into this world. It shouldn't be no competition unless it's sports. You know what I'm saying? It says Predators, Charles. Yeah, somebody named Charles. All right. I'm going to do another spread. Man, that's why I don't pay to be doing no fuck shit. You got enough to... Hey, Mr. Funkadelic. The reading was just about, you know, it's enough just living regular that people want to just hurt you. And then if you added doing some fuck shit, I mean, unless you protecting yourself, you and yours, you know what I'm saying? And you should already be doing that just in case, you know what I'm saying? You never know, 'cause somebody always talking. It's an evil ass prison. They like doing that kind of shit. They like fucking with people. It makes their day to see you miserable, scared, hurting each other, talking about each other, you know, worried about money, stealing, killing, whatever for money, fucking whatever. They love that. They sit back and laugh at our ass. They love that kind of shit. You got to recognize what's really going on here. We dealing with some psychopaths that's running everything. For real, for real. Making fucked up decisions. Jealousy. Because they want... Oh, that's where that competing come from. They want to prove that you ain't powerful than them. You know. Crazy. I'm not just talking about Trump. Trump just a puppet. That ain't even the real Trump no more. One reader said she seen him digging out the trash, the original Trump. So they done fucked his head up. If y'all didn't notice when he was running, it was one with the red tie and one with the blue. Those were two different people. And the whatever one that got the white hair, one had red hair, that's the one that's president now. That's not even Trump. I'm talking about the ones who running him. Whatever entity, secret society, whatever. Gangster, whatever the fuck, who running it. He just a puppet. All of them politicians and all of that, they are nothing but puppets. And they take over their body when they want to. Ricky. Alright, we got the Matrix. Hail Zeus. Caesar. Castles. Ancient times. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. Hello. Yeah, it's best to get out there, the political world. It's nothing but a setup. They all work for the same people. They all work for the same people. None of them any good. They don't run shit. They don't make no decisions. They put who they want in office for their agenda. I see it. I mean, I don't know. Let me see. Got spirit. Okay, we got. Oh, they glitters is not gold. Look beyond the clouds. Money improvements. So somebody wanting this, wanting that, wanting this. I want this. I want that. I want this. I want that. I'll bow down. See. Bow down, bow cow. Judgment on it though. Ooh, judgment on the Matrix. Yeah. Chaos is here, baby. So gifted, that's your gifts. Time to, it's coming. That's my fire truck card, ambulance, Red Cross, missionaries, zombie, praise, graveyard dirt, awakening, rising up, everybody waking up out this matrix. Pied Piper. It's a lot. I have a lot for one card. But I'm seeing that people waking up and they don't like that. I guess I'll take out 3. Ace of Cups. So yeah, they don't like that. It's gonna be an uproar. The dam has broke. Water everywhere. Flood. It's a lot of people. It's waking up. Not received. 3 of Pentacles. So plans, blueprints. The church. What about the church? Judgment reverse. The fallen ones. Okay. Okay, the one they've been lying to. The people they've been lying to. Making you think that dark is evil. A certain group of people, melanated people, is evil. The lies about the fallen angels. The secret. It's gonna be exposed. They trying to keep a secret. The church, the Vatican. They don't want people woke. They don't want them to receive who they are. It says face your fears, shape-shifting illusions. So they already doing a bunch of fuck shit already to throw everybody out. Well, I guess they'll be doing more. What's these 3 cards? It says, yep, they'll be doing more. Enlightened idea. So what's the idea? To cut off your protection. No risk. But your 3rd eye open. So they wanna do some stuff. What? Hey, Caesar. His name will not be Caesar. I just talked about Caesar. No. I'm not talking about that. Damn, Mr. Frankenstein. No, that's fucked up. Wow. No, I just don't because no, keep studying. That's all I can say. Wheel of Fortune reverse. CERN back. They want to bring us back. We are going in the retrograde. I should have put that on here too. So this retrograde, they plan on, I don't know what N and I and G mean. You want to be in a nigga dome. You want to be a nigga dome. That what it is. You jealous. You want to be in a nigga dome. You got to earn that. Okay? I know you jealous. They copy everything. I can't nigga dome you if you ain't trying to do what you're supposed to do. Okay? Sorry. You ain't gonna get that card. Because you trying to be funny. And that's what you highlight, nigga. Come on now. And that is in Africa. It is a place. And nigga is very powerful. It's not what they have in a dictionary at all. Okay. So you got the wrong one here. And I know y'all want to be called that. That's something that y'all want to be fit in. But you know what you need to do? You need to find out what's your DNA. You need to find out who is really your people. Because you might be half us. We all can. Don't get me wrong. We all can. Okay? But some of us have more melanin in their body than others. You need to find out about your family for real. Get out the box. Get out of what you taught and go do some research. See, that white ain't even a color. Okay? You either Irish, you know what I'm saying? You part of something like that. So if you got any of them in there, see what I'm saying? See, he know exactly what I'm talking about. You just can't say I'm white. And y'all wasn't even called white. It was really in Africa. The ones that wear the white paint on their face, those were white. See, you gotta know who your culture is. You know what I'm saying? See, they telling you right there, you European, but what European? It's a lot of different cultures in Europe. If you from Europe, you got to have some. The Moors, you know what I'm saying? Even the Vikings, before they went into the cold, they were part. Okay, there you go. Irish got black in them. Come on, baby. Do your research. Keep doing it. They lying to you. Nobody's pure, but some have more than others. And that could help you save your life for what's about to come. You ain't got to worry about stealing nobody melanin when the stuff come down. Okay? If you find out you got some in you, don't let them fool you. They lying to everybody. Yes, it is, sweetheart. Do your research. You're not researching the right spots. You need to do your research. Irish, everything was black first. Okay? Let me get out of that. Everything was black first. We're going to leave it out. Leave it in there. Then we made y'all. Okay? But anyway. So they're finna. Okay. Now, do your research before you call me wrong. And then come back and talk to me. But anyway, so they're going to. Thank you, babe. They're going to go back with this retrograde that's coming up November 6th. But you know, it always starts ahead of time. Yeah. So we got a retrograde coming in November 6th. So this gonna be a big one. What you talking about? His bottom ring has black in it. What does that mean? But anyway, so they're going to be doing some stuff. Okay. What did I put down? I wrote down about the retrograde. Oh. Y'all go ahead and play. Y'all gonna wish you had some melanin in you. Your people ain't telling y'all what's going on. And if you part of the Masons and Skull and Bones and in there, they know the truth. They ain't telling y'all. Why you think they trying to hide underground? Okay, and still melanin. But they ain't telling y'all. You need to get some knowledge in, baby. They ain't telling y'all why they hiding underground. I'm telling you. Keep researching. You'll find out. Hopefully it won't be too late. Everything in here is dark. Everything in here is black. You can't see it. That's magic. Everything's black inside. Okay. Okay, where is thing? I know I put it about the Stop making me sing that song, man. You have fucked up. You have fucked up big time, so I don't even know. That's on you. Your karma gonna eat your ass up. I'm talking to someone and they know who I'm talking to. That was wrong. I was nothing but a friend to you. And you know that what it was. And to come at me like you came at me and try to destroy my life, that was fucked up. And I know home chick who used to work with us help you out too, along with your people, especially that Virgo brother of yours. I know. And probably your wife for jealousy. Because you don't know how to separate shit. Let's see, yeah, here you go. Mars retrograde in Cancer. Okay. They got... So, October, the greatest elongation east. October 29th. Mars retrograde in Cancer. All month. Moody motivation suggests the time to slow down and avoid forcing actions. Mercury into Scorpio, October 13th. Communication turns deep and intense, with secrets potentially surfacing during conversations. Venus enters Virgo. Love and relationships become more practical with a focus on realness and routines. The Sun enters Scorpio, October 23rd. The energy of the month turns more intense and transformative, ushering a period of emotional rebirth, seeking truth. See, you see how they got that, making people, I don't want to say weak, but that love scenario stuff is like the turn the other cheek. That's what I'm getting out of it. So you'll be vulnerable. October 5th. Okay, that's the full moon. I think it's the full moon. Yeah, full moon on the 6th of October. Okay. I want to get down to the retrograde. Big changes in 2025. A shift in the lunar nodes where eclipses take place, and the beguiling Venus retrograde at a transition of Jupiter and Saturn. The intermediate planets into a new sign, Cancer and Aries, respectively. The Great Reset. So they planning on a reset. Okay. shifting of outer planets, Neptune, Uranus, and Pluto, was technically and finally changed signs in November, and it's covered here. So they want to have all us go back in the mind, okay? Those that are not prepared, those that still believing in the old system of what you were taught, the Capricorn age, the Pisces age, because we're going into the Aquarius age. If y'all don't know what that is, look it up. Remember, it was an old song by the I forgot the name. When the moon is some in the first, and it was this is the dawning of the age of Aquarius, age of Aquarius. That's what we're dealing with. It goes different times, it goes cycles, it goes into different zodiac signs and different ages. We're trying to get out of the age of Pisces, Capricorn, which was ruling, structured, run your life, how they got in Hollywood, follow orders, sacrifice, all that shit. Pisces is prison, mental. It could be out. Both of them could be both good and bad, but they are using it for bad. Prison, mental health, sickness, dark secrets, the rabbit hole, the whole 9 yards, using Pluto, Scorpio energy. So it's time for that to leave. And they finna do their biggest fight ever. So they'll be putting shit in the air. They'll be putting more stuff in everything. So if you haven't found Mother Nature, because Mother Nature cleans herself. If you haven't found the foods out of nature that our ancestors long time ago used to eat, that she grows freely, that are edible, that's healing, because they didn't need to go to a hospital or a doctor, which they don't want to cure you because they don't get paid if you get cured. You need to do that now. Fuck all that other shit, prejudice shit, fuck that shit. Survivor time. They got plants, they got melanin in them, okay? All dark, mostly dark plants. Anything with color, dark color. Start eating them foods that's edible. Find out what the health benefits of them are, and start getting some of that in your system, because you're gonna need that to protect yourself with what's about to come, and you won't be programmed, because they ain't gonna do nothing but use your ass and keep you as a slave like they do it now with all of us. Everybody's a slave, whether you live in a big nice neighborhood, elite, whatever, on down to the poorest of the poor. They just got different ways to keep everybody thinking they better than the other person. It's a game with them. So fuck all that other stuff. It's survivor time. It's past survivor time. But they ain't gonna tell you that. Because they don't give a damn about you. Period. They don't give a fuck about you. Ooh. Telling you. Yeah, they finna do some shit. Trying to keep our memories so we won't remember. They kind of keep us trapped. They want to keep this prison going. Look beyond the ice walls. Y'all know what I'm talking about. They think they slick. Yeah, they finna cause a big old everything. So them homes and all you stay in, already know it's fire, it's floods, it's all kind of storms, because it don't mean nothing. So get used to Mother Nature and living, grabbing you a backpack. You know what I'm saying? Y'all remember that? Look, this Aquarius card, Age of Aquarius. I'm telling you. So they ain't doing nothing but bringing Age of Aquarius anyway. That's all they doing. It says rats. Telling. He calling me a rat. Because I'm telling y'all information. They don't like that. Too bad. They don't want y'all to have the knowledge. That book is reversed. Closing the book. But my ancestors ain't playing no games. And they ain't gonna like them. This is upside down, baby. They playing with some ruthless ones. So y'all get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready. Get all that color shit. It was no color in the 16, 17, 1500. Ain't nobody worried about no damn color. It was about status, okay? It was about power. They figured out at the end of the 17 to figure out how to mess with the color to still hold us back. Because too many people are still prospering all colors together, doing what they needed to do, okay? Then they figured, okay, we can knock them down and make the color thing, you know, make them jealous of each other. Even did it with, they did it with each culture. The blacks, they did it with master raping them, having bright children. They keep them in the house. That's the boule. Those are the house niggas, okay? Keeping the darker skin out in the fields. They do the same thing with white people. Some of them real white, and they treat the ones that got a little color a little different. You know, it's still a little something. Still a little power thing going on. Still that color factor. Even with Spanish, same thing. They call themselves, some call themselves white because they got the Spanish in them. Some call themselves black. And they treat the darker skin worse than they do the lighter skin, but they all damn same. They do it in every culture. Chinese, everybody. All of them do it. That's to control out all our ass. Shit. Them folks is crazy. Masculine energy. Yeah. For business. Oh, this business. Now this personal, motherfucker. But to them, it's just business. Because they can steal your shit. They can keep you down low. They can take your gold. They can take everything. You know, have you thinking you're supposed to turn the other cheek and forgive every fucking thing. I ain't forgiving what you... I'm eye for an eye. I'm old school. Shit, I might not do it. My ancestors gonna take care of it. Shit. No, you just can't keep fucking me over and think I'm supposed to turn the other cheek and let you slap the other one. No, baby. That was put in there to control people. That one, look at that. A snare. Somebody trying to set you up. And that's what they doing, setting our ass up for a fall. Y'all open your eyes, baby. Stop looking at color. That don't even matter. It's survival time, baby. You got somebody by your side, no matter what color it is, and y'all can figure out some shit. You know what I'm saying? And figure out what the next move of these fuckers is. You know? And working together and trust each other and be loyal and respectful. You know? Shit, y'all won. Y'all won. Shit. Figure out what these people doing. Baby, please. That's what it's all about right now. Fuck the dumb shit. So they plan on me using some fucked up magic. Calling in a sorcerer, evil sorcerer. We got a sorcerer too. Oh shit. We had sorcerers way before they had sorcerers. They copied off of us because they part of us. That's our family. I don't care who they are. You want to call them extraterrestrials, whatever. We extraterrestrials too. We all in this together. You got good and you got bad. That's why I played Bobby Hemmett. You know, he just said it like it is. Now, if you can take what he says and take out you thinking he prejudiced, he not. He's just speaking truth. And listen to the knowledge that he have for you, then you'll know what's really going on. So they finna, and the magic gonna backfire on their ass too. Get your magic book, or they're using a witchcraft book. You gotta study everything. You gotta study every culture's Bible. You gotta study every culture's everything about everybody. Don't just stop at yourself, because it's knowledge for you so you won't be left behind. Okay, yeah, time to rise. You're on a mission. It's time to awake. But they ain't finna stop the age of Aquarius. What is this, Taurus? What they was trying to make you sick or kill you, it's not gonna work. Whatever snare they got, gonna go back to them. Judge, change the future. Y'all here to change the future, especially y'all young ones. Aquarius age again. Somebody paying somebody to do some magic on you. Trying to get you caught up. Child, these folks crazy. Got the, I think that's the Hierophant, Jupiter, Sagittarius energy. I think it's Taurus energy, Gemini, and Queen of Scepter. That's work. Oh, that a black magic right there. It's reverse the work. Forgive. Move forward. Violet. Warning. Let's see. Aquarius. Gemini. Homeless. Shit. I just said about that. Stop worrying about them caves, shit, them homes and shit. They finna tear that up. They gonna try to make you do anything to stay in them bad homes, in them homes and shit. They gonna make you do anything to stay in there. Tell them fuck you. And take your backpack and talk to you to create whoever you believe in, your ancestors. They gonna make sure you eat. Research Mother Nature, plants. Go out there, build your fire, get you some pots. Cook Mother Nature's food. It's much healthier for you. Tastes good. Take a minute to get used to, but you need some bitter herbs. Moses tried to tell you that. Okay. Look at this. They want to trap you up in secret. Think you don't know. Watching, waiting to see if it's going to work. The magic they put out on the full moon. Messing with your bank account, ATM card. It says evidence. So they're trying to figure out some kind of evidence on you to put you in jail or whatever they're trying to do, child. They want to get away with it, but that tower met their ass. It's just like that. Tower, oh, it's this way. Tower met their ass. Yeah, they fucked up now. It went right back to them. Everything you wish for me, I wish for you. Empress. So they discussing the issue. It's like Job. They discussing you. The even is discussing to the creators. About the magic. Death magic they sent. 9 of Pentacles. You're gonna have peace and abundance. Don't even trip on that. You well taken care of. Ooh, 10 of Pentacles. Everything coming back to you. Somebody was paid to kill you. That money coming back to you. What I told you, everything gonna go in your favor. Don't trip on this, folks. See, the devil, he can only do, well, we're going to say the devil, evenness. And this is black, too. Papa Legba can only do what he told to do. Cannot go out of order. They've been going out of order, though. They've been tripping. That's why that shit coming back on their ass. They've been doing shit they ain't supposed to been doing. A lot of shit they ain't supposed to been doing. So they karma it got to come. Adopted, finding out who your family is or not. It says lawsuit, reverse. So whoever trying to do that, it's gonna go in your favor. Hate is a strong word. Somebody hates you, they don't, child. Probably hate themselves. Universities or some universities tricking or could do willingly to join secret societies and taking their souls and doing it for material wealth. May know their bloodline, not the same child. You let go. Yeah, they might know their bloodline. See, they tricking the children and they going to school. Yeah. Not the same child you let go to college or university. They come back different. They don't. Either your child and signed it, maybe didn't know, maybe thought they can get some money or get status, or tricked, not telling them the whole truth. No navel on stomach. Could make them a clone. Might have to look at your child and make sure that's the child you had. Or could be a Cabbage Patch. Could be a clone. I don't know. Put cameras in your car, maybe in your home to watch them. It says divorced. What about divorced? Stay in the house. Your kids are loved, protected, and safe by the creators, ancestors, archangels, and guides. Hello. Superstitious. Somebody superstitious. And that's why it says stay in the house. We never effed. Who paid you to take me out? Curious, how much is my life worth? It says Barbara. It came out doing Gemini reading. Hiding their temper. Hey, they own everything. Take out orders. I don't do that. I used to tell my daughter before she passed, stop doing that. We don't know what them people doing with the food. Just hygiene alone. Witch in the Bible, Saul ass was upset because she didn't know she would get cursed for disturbing a spiritual leader, Samuel, from the grave. So they gonna get fucked up, fucking with people who's supposed to be here at this time, changing the world. It says, nephew, you're a sweet person. Okay. National Guards, put in cages, don't look back. It says reverse. So they're planning on sending wherever your town is. Just get your ancestor stuff up, baby. Find out who you are. Get your power. Get to researching while you're in the house. You know, go to the library. Tell them, I'm just going to the library. Look on the internet. Find out what the fuck going on. Don't just keep on with that color shit. You know, we should be out of that. They trying to make sure we don't have shit. They trying to put us in cages and fuck us up and spearmint on us and all that. And they don't give a damn what color. You know, certain ones they targeting, but they know who has melanin in them and who not. You might say, okay, like you say, I'm white. You don't know if you pure or not. You could be boule. You know what I'm saying? You could be look more white than you do black. And they could be lying. The test you getting could be lies. Because they lie all the time. I don't know. Or whatever. Just do some research. More than what y'all doing. What time is it? 2:39. 7th chakra, crown chakra, selfishness. I am kind to all. I am aware that everything I do or say affects others. I will help those who seek it, and I will seek out ways to be of service. I develop an attitude of looking for ways to help others instead of always waiting to be asked. Everything I do from a spiritual perspective, and I put my heart into it. That's what I was saying about finding people on the same page as you to find out what's going on and getting some shit together. Yeah, that's what it's time for right now. Not staying stuck in their ways of thinking, which is not good. They fucking up the earth. They fucking up everybody. Mother Nature tired of their ass. She about to spit everybody the fuck out because she can refurbish herself like all the other ancestors from the past. You know what I'm saying? Who was here before? She took care of that. So, yeah. You ain't gotta listen to this old lady, child. At all. Period. Don't you know? Nope. Get too much fuck shit. Your karma is here. I did nothing to you to deserve that. Nothing. You fuck yourself. Oh, let me use some other cards. Thank y'all for the likes. Appreciate that. The Tower reverse. Resistant change. Fear of loss. Close call. Child. 5 of Cups reverse. Moving on. Forgiveness. Tower almost took somebody out. Unpredictable. King of Needles reverse. Impulsive. Oh, you got out the way just in time. Kept it moving. The Hermit. Soul searching. Self-discovery. A long time. The World reverse. Unfulfillment. Stun your growth. Emptiness. 5 of Matches reverse. Compromise. Cooperation. Agreement. Damn, all of them came out reverse. That's fucked up. Except for the Hermit. Somebody need to soul search. Change themselves. Catch yourself before you wreck yourself. If they spared you, that means that you came here to do something. You know? Not because it was you. Because you came here to do something for the world. Everybody got an assignment. This ain't about you. Okay? Self-acceptance. 8 of Needles. Release. Re-evaluation. Exactly. Loving self first. That's that hermit. So you can stand up strong for what you came here to do. Not to make people worship you or make them jealous or compete with you. Or take what they got and say it's yours. Because it's all Mother Nature's, okay? This the earth shit. When we leave all that shit here. It's not ours. Egyptians tried to bury with them, and what happened? Curiosity. 6 of buttons. Is that sharing? Yeah, sharing. Charity. Yeah, somebody need to do some charity work. Go and help somebody else besides yourself. Wheel of Fortune reverse. Misfortune, loss, upheaval. Arrogance. 6 of matches. Disgrace, pride. So somebody's saying it's not going in their favor. So it's like, to me, it's like saying, charity, things ain't going in my favor. Why should I go help somebody else? And it says, too arrogant, too prideful. You're a disgrace. Ooh, right by the universe or the world card. Emptiness. Stun your growth. Hesitation, holding back, indecision. It's your decision to matches. Because you're going to want somebody to help you. But if you ain't willing to help nobody else, how that work? Breakthrough, intelligence, clarity, Ace of Needles. Okay. How that work? Are you seeing with my intelligence? Okay. The Sun, happiness, authenticity, optimism. Okay. Because you all that, okay? Wow. That's crazy. Pride on 100. 3 of Cups reverse. Exclusion, gossip, all a long time. 4 of Cups. Contemplation, apathy, disillusion, lying to self. Mistrust, imbalance, 2 of Cups, tension, no unity. Do it alone then, shit. Wish come true, gratitude, 9 of Cups, contentment. Yeah, mistrust, I understand that. Gotta trust somebody though. Patience, balance, temperance, inspiration. The Lovers, commitment, partnership, choices. Yeah, gotta trust somebody. You'll know, you'll feel it. Weakness, helplessness, insecurity, strength reverse. Endings, change, death, transition. You'll know. You see, the inside of a person. You'll feel the aura. You'll feel them if you can trust them or not. Collaboration, teamwork, 3 of buttons. Yeah, you know. Confession, coward, 6 of needles. Conscious to that person that you won't leave by your side. They don't even want to admit when they wrong. That's a dangerous ass person. They want you to forgive them without saying the words to you and really meaning it, because they have an agenda. They still mean the same thing. Maybe they got caught. You know what I'm saying? Egoism. The unknown reverse. What I said. Adventure. Knight of matches. Action. Energy. Passion. Fuck shit. Fatigue, struggle, paranormal, 9 of matches. That's yeah. That's about what they'll give right there. They just think about their desires and pleasures and passion and crazy shit. Please, I got time for that bullshit. High Priestess reverse, repression, secrets revealed. See, you have to, this person don't know who they are, don't know their gifts, ain't worried about it. But you can see through that, okay? You can see their secrets, you know. You have insight. They fuck themselves. Overextended dependency, 9 of buttons. Beyond means, doing too damn much. Expose itself. They say a dog always go back to his vomit. And eat it. Ew. I've been seeing them eat the shit. Infinity growth, the universe, evolution. See, you growing. You going about your business. Doing what you're supposed to do. They want to hold you back. And they shit. That's the world. Want to pull you back into the pig shit. On lies. On me. Regeneration. Survival. 10 of needles. Rise above. Hello. They want to pull your energy. Survive on you. They done did so much stuff they don't want to say. They don't want to say forgive me to even the creator or whatever. I don't understand that. I don't know. People, they wrong and mean it, because the creator see your heart, and people can see your heart if you mean it or not. Clear of mind. Okay, honesty. Queen of needles. Unbiased. New love. Ace of cups. Creativity. Affirmation. Loving themselves for somebody better for you, so I ain't trip on that. Introspection, 4 needles. Recuperation. Alright, that's what I got, y'all. Hope it helps. Like, subscribe, share, and comment. Research. Get that knowledge. Don't stop. Love y'all. Bye. Thanks for coming. Appreciate y'all.